So welcome everyone to Cisco Canada's Virtual Kitchen. Today we're live from the Manitoba Hotel Association and the Manitoba Restaurant Association. Welcome Garrett from Spark.
Thank you. Really appreciate it for having us again. Excited to have a talk with you today.
Awesome. Well, this is really cool. We also got Emily Ferguson, our director of marketing. Welcome, Emily. So, Garrett, tell us a little bit about Spark Technology.
Yeah.
So,
We have robots. We have server robots. That's what we have over here. Our company started around, I'll say, almost a year ago. We saw the COVID happening, and we decided to, open these robots, bring the Voodoo robotics, and go into these restaurants, essentially give them a tool that's a useful tool to help them out. So that's what we're doing right now. We have a few different robots. We have some more bigger ones, some more premium ones. We have smaller ones that advertise the front. But yeah, that's the different robots that we have.
how long has Spark been around?
We're almost a year.
Almost a year?
Almost a year. Yep, time flies.
It has been a year.
Yep, almost a year. I think around like 9 to 10 months now.
So what's
Yep.
the popularity right now with these robots?
Owners are taking it very well. They are looking for tools right now because, as we know, it's hard to find waiters these days in some restaurants, right? That's the hardest part with COVID happening, right? So, all these owners, they are looking more into it. In the GTA area, more of the GTA, there's a lot of big names that's already signed partnerships with us. Good examples like Boston Pizza or Denny's. Those are the bigger names that's with us already. But yeah, we're getting pretty good traction. We're around 2 weeks out with booking with installs right now, so that's how busy we are right now.
What kind of restaurants are buying these kind of robots right now?
Yeah. So I'll say really any restaurant that has more than the 10 tables that can really use a robot like this over here. We're not only in restaurants, we're also in hotels and also office buildings. So we do have a partnership with the office building where they have the Bellabot just going around in circles and handing out snacks and taking dirty cups back. That was a very recent partnership that we did.
Do you see resorts also using this?
Yes. So there is a resort that we set up just 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, I can't give the name yet.
Okay.
They're in the demo trial process right now. But what they're doing in the resort, they're going around, they're handing out drinks. And inside of a resort, one thing is that the kitchen is very far away from the dining room or even the banquet hall, right? So they use these robots as just runners, bring the food to the dining room and letting the waiters stay in the dining room and not even to have
Oh,
running
really?
back and forth. Yeah. So a little fun fact: I had the manager calculate how many kilometers they traveled on a normal day without the robot. He said he traveled around 30 kilometers per day. But after having the robot, he said it brought him down to around the 7 to 10 kilometers. So it's pretty cool fact where he randomly told me one day, and I'm like, wow, like how are these statistics? That's not how do we not know this before, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's pretty cool to see the science behind how these robots are actually a factor for even a resort or even a hotel.
Wow. Emily, do you think
Yeah.
you ever thought you'd be talking about robots?
I watched the Jetsons growing up, so I imagined, absolutely imagined. But I think it's really cool just thinking about all the different types of facilities, restaurants, food service, hospitality, where you can actually use them.
Mhm.
That's fascinating to me. What does it look like in a restaurant?
Yeah, so inside the restaurant, there's really two modes that the Bellobot does the best. Number one is the direct delivery mode. So, as simple as the robot is inside the kitchen, the chef puts the food onto the tray, clicks a table number, and sends it, and it goes directly to the table side. And then when it gets to the table side, what happens is that the tray will light up saying that, hey, please pick up from tray one, and then the customers will just grab it off of the tray one. Simple as that. There's a second mode where it's called cruise mode, it actually goes around and collects dirty dishes. So like I said, these robots, it's not here to replace any waiters. I know a lot of people ask about that. These are to help the waiters out and to assist them, right? Because if a waiter is clearing off a table, they see the robot coming through, they just stop it, put all the dirty dishes, sends it back to dishwashing station, right? It saves them the step. And the cool part is that the waiter will stay in the dining room and give that white glove service to the restaurant, the customers.
I like that because it's really, you're not replacing that experience. You can't replace that in-person
You can't.
experience.
Oh no, you can't.
But you can supplement it, give them more time to focus on the customer relationship, right?
100%.
So what are some of the things that are going to be new features? I think we talked about this at the RC show.
Yeah, so we just had a few different updates for the robots itself. So on the back of the BellaBot, you actually change all the wordings and everything. So, I know in Winnipeg, you guys are big hockey fans over here. Back in Toronto, when when the Toronto Raptors were in the playoffs, they'll put Go Raptors Go on the back, and you're able to change this around. Another feature that we're able to put is that we're able to change the different voices now. So you're able to type in the voices. So when the robot comes up to the table, it doesn't have the default saying, "Hey, here's your food." They can be like, "Hey, Jay, happy birthday. Here's your food," or something like that, right?
Really?
So yeah. So those are new couple of features. There's a lot more new features that's coming out. For example, we do have an app right now where you're able to call the robot from your phone.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's from wherever you're at. So
Really?
yeah, exactly. Little funny story. I had the app downloaded for one of the restaurants on my phone just to test it out. I accidentally, when I was at another setup,
Yeah.
I was trying to call the robot. I'm like, "Hey, why wasn't it working?" And I got a phone call from the previous restaurant. He's like, "Hey, the robot's just going. It's possessed. It's going around. It's trying to leave the door. What's happening?" And then I found, I'm like, "Oh, that's my bad. I was trying to call it from all the way from the another restaurant."
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Now, I think we talked about, are you guys going to put a vacuum on them?
So we do have a new robot that's going to be coming out. Check it on the Poodoo page. I think they're going to be launching a commercial about the CC1 robot.
Yeah.
That robot, with my knowledge at the moment, it should be vacuuming the floor. It should be cleaning and mopping the floor and everything. So it's a bigger version of those household vacuum cleaners that we see nowadays. Yeah. So my fiance is going to love that.
That's so cool. Well, in restaurants, there's always crumbs and everything that are happening. Always happens, right?
Yep.
It'd be nice to have a robot to be able to help that with a little bit.
Yeah, I've actually seen a restaurant where they actually have like 4 Roombas going around at once. So it's quite funny. It's interesting, but yeah, that's a new product that's coming out. We have another few ones that's coming out also where it's actually a robot that walks. It has legs and it walks, and you can put the item inside the robot over there. So I don't know much detail more about that, but like I said, it's on our website, sparkleglobaltech.com,
Yep.
or on Poodoo's website.
Now, I have a question because it's the big $1 million question. It was
Yep.
like thousands of million today. Is what our cost? Like people are
Yep.
thinking, that's the big thing everyone that's asking today at the show. Are they extremely costly or what are they at?
No, so we have a lot of different programs. Financing the robot is our most popular one. If we break it down with our most expensive robot, the BellaBot that has everything already, we're looking around, I'll say $30 a day to finance it for 3 years.
Wow.
Right. So if you start doing the comparison between, a minimum wage worker at $15 an hour,
2 hours.
2 hours exactly. So
Which you have to pay for 3, right?
yeah, yes. But if you break down the math, $15, average person works 8 hours a day. That's where you're legally able to work. That's $120 an hour, right? And a robot itself, it's there to, there's a cost difference right over there, right? So the ROI, the return of investment for these robots, whenever an owner is able to see it, you're looking around I'll say almost the 7 months to the 12-month mark, you'll start seeing return investment that, hey, this is money that you saved, and now this robot belongs to you. And it's an item where it never calls in sick. It never gets sick, right? That's the best part about it, right? It's a robot
Now,
you can rely on.
I have this. Sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions, Amy.
No worries.
I have a lot of questions here. Now, we've had many interviews and talks with Darren and Shane and stuff, but what happens if it breaks down?
Yep. So that's how Spark comes in, right?
Okay.
The reason why we're the main distributor in Canada is that, we're Canadian. If there's any problems with the robot, something breaks, something happens, or the normal thing, you switch around the tables and you need to make table adjustments, we're there to support you. Our turnover time is around less than 48 hours inside the GTA area right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have a team of more than almost 20 people. We have a lot of technicians that's out there. Sometimes we even get the fix done the day of, right?
Or like you yesterday, Darren was working on the robot here,
Yep.
and they were fixing it from Toronto.
Virtually. Correct. Yeah. So what happened yesterday? The robot was having little bit of some issue. I'm not the engineer, so I didn't know what was happening. I made a quick phone call to our engineering team. They, all I needed to do on my side was connect it to a Wi-Fi network, and that's it. And then they did everything in the back end network, and then that's it. They're like, "Yeah, you're good to go. Start rolling around. You're good to go."
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's why I say, turnover time to get the support to you, it's right there. It's right there. So that's what Spark is coming in as. We're not only here to sell a product to you, we're here to give you the service also that you need, right? And we include a 1-year warranty. We back up products up, and it's there to help you for sure.
Upgrades? What happens if it needs an upgrade?
Just like your phone.
Serious?
Yep. In the settings over there, I'll prompt a message saying, "Hey, there's a new update that's coming up," or anything just like your phone, right? Like I use the iPhone, new iOS that comes out, same thing. We might have different functions that comes out. So if there are any new functions, like a new voice, a new song that you want to add, or something like that, anything, they'll automatically update virtually, and you get the newest hardware.
Pretty cool, Am?
That is kind of cool.
It's kind of cool, right? Do you have any questions, Em, for Darren?
I'm just curious, Darren, if I'm a new operator and I'm
Yep.
nervous, right, about trying it, what's the best way to integrate into my restaurant operations to prepare my staff?
That's a very fair question. So one thing we do, because like I said, it's not about the money at all. We want to make sure the restaurants are able to use these robots and able to take the most advantage of it, right? And the operation side, right? So what we do is that we do a 2 weeks free trial, really no strings attached. We put the robot in there, we let you use it for 2 weeks, and we show you. We come back in, every other day. We have people, our sales support team that comes back like every other day or once a week, whatever it is. We stay with you during their lunch rush, and we show each of the staff how to use it and how it can support them, right? So that's what we do over there. And honestly, I tell all the owners, hey, try it out. If it works for you, great, that's awesome. If it doesn't work for you, make a new friend. That's it, right? No harm done, right?
Yeah.
So
Excellent. Do I get to name the robot?
So they do have names already, but it's funny how you ask, because a lot of people just rename them afterwards.
I believe it.
Yep. But Bella, this is the Ketty right behind us. That's her name. Bella's the most popular one. That's her name. But a lot of times where I see the naming comes in is that they name it another waiter's name, like an actual waiter's name.
Yeah.
So they just say, "Hey, Joe's working here. Joe's not here today. We're calling him Joe."
Really?
Yep.
Well, he's part of your team, right?
He is.
Really, another team member. Yeah.
Yep. He's spiritually there for you. He's still there, right? It's just his day off, but
Just
Awesome.
got to get him doing the high fives at shift start.
yep.
I'm not going to say other things about what else they could do at a shift, right? Shift start. Anyways, well, thanks again, Darren, for jumping on today's call or jumping on today's show at the Manitoba Hotel and Restaurant Association Trade Show. We can also find more information on Cisco.ca site.
Yep.
Go to Cisco.ca. Scroll down, find Cisco Advantage, and then you can check out our list of Advantage partners, but you'll see Spark there as well and find more information, and they can contact you guys directly. But thanks again, Darren.
Thank you.
Thanks for Darren. So you know what, Em? We're going to hang out.
Yep.
Darren, you can go if you want. I don't know, you can hang out or still. But we're going to be back after this quick message.
Yep.
And then we're going to more interviews all day. Me and Em are going to interview a ton of people over the next few hours over here at the Hotel Association. So we'll be right back after this message. There you go. Welcome everyone to Cisco Canada's. I think I hit my keyboard and it paused the video. So welcome everyone to Cisco Canada's virtual kitchen. We are super excited today to really talk about and celebrate Asian Heritage Month with a legend, a Canadian legend, restaurateur, chef, author, TED talker, Chef Vikram Vij. Thank you again for being today on our show.
Pleasure. Namaste and peace to all and happiness in these tough and trying times.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chef. I'm going to call you Chef because we have a food show. We're going to call you Chef if that's okay with you, because you are an industry changer in my mind in Indian food. And first of all, I've ate at your restaurant. I had a pleasure of doing that before COVID hit. One of the best meals, and I don't just say this, I was just saying this earlier with him, with Chef. I don't just say that, but it was really cool. And it was funny when I got to meet you in person, was your passion. And I have met thousands of restaurateurs over my 32 years in the industry. You're the most passionate chef I've ever met. I like you are, to walk around, and I'll never forget, it was raining outside and you had to go show us the front and all your little, I don't know, the little things on your front of your restaurant, and you're so passionate about those, and just everything that in there had a reason and purpose, and it was just beautiful. So yeah, thank you again for being on today and helping us celebrate Asian Heritage Month. So I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions for you.
Yes.
A lot of questions and things like that. But let's discuss a little bit about your journey and how you became where you are today. Let's start back then. And how did you become a chef and a restaurateur and all this great crazy world you live in?
Well, you know, I grew up in India, so I'm a somebody who loves food and has always enjoyed it. But I also love people. I'm a people's person. I'm a people pleaser. I have always enjoyed talking to people. So when I was a young kid, you know, there are people who shy away from when somebody comes to their house. I was the kind of person who would like come out and say, "Oh, talk to me. I want to be seen." I was always the showman in that sense. You know, sometimes my mom used to say, or you know, I call myself a joker. You know, you're always making other people laugh, basically. And so I actually wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a Bollywood actor. And one day my father crushed my dreams by saying his son is not going to become an actor. He doesn't want his son to become an actor. And, you know, at that time, India was going through so much turmoil of political unrest. And there was, you know, fighting going on between Hindus and Sikhs at the time. And it was time to get out. And I went to Austria to become a chef. I got my chef's papers from Hotel Management School in Salzburg, which was a 3-year program. And then, you know, it's funny in life, sometimes you look back and you think, oh my God, at that time it was such a pain, but in the end, it became a positive thing. As an Indian passport holder, I wasn't allowed to work for more than 6 months at one place. So I would have to go to Germany, then I would have to go to France and Austria and different parts of the world every 6 months in order to be able to get a working visa. But then that gathered a lot of experience in French cooking and Italian cooking and different parts of the cooking of the world. And then I had this huge opportunity, which was very simple, basically. I was cooking in Austria, and the general manager of the Banff Springs Hotel was having dinner, and he wanted to have something spicy. He had gone skiing, and he was tired. He was Hungarian, and he wanted to have something spicy. So obviously, the Austrian food is very simple and bland, salt and pepper, and extra butter and everything else. So the kitchen came to me and said, "Hey, listen, this guy wants something spicy," and I had some goulash soup and I spiced up Indian style, and he was really happy with it. And he said, "Young kids like you who speak English should come to Canada because it's a beautiful country." And I went to 6 months later, I applied to him just because I'd heard Canada was this great country of immigrants, that people were going to be very friendly. And he gave me a visa for 6 months, and I came to Banff Springs Hotel, and I worked there for 3.5 years before I decided to come to Vancouver and open up my own restaurant. And the reason why I decided to open up a restaurant is because I felt that Indian food never got its respect, what it actually should. Our spices are as unique as any Italian or as French or any other Californian cuisine. Our spices are as unique and different. And I felt that we were like we were called ethnic, suddenly, like we were just clumped together as Asian food or Mexican food. Like it was like, and I really felt passionate about it. And I stood up and I worked in great kitchens. I'd worked in great places, great restaurants. John Bishop was one of them. I really felt that it was time to elevate the cuisine and the culture and my heritage to a different level altogether. And hence the journey of Vij's, and here we are, remaining focused, loving what we do, and on top of it, most importantly, keeping the passion of food and wine and bringing people and showing them that good food and good spices are as important as love and compassion.
Yeah. You mentioned that in your TED Talk. You talk about that, the love, and you must have love and passion and care for your food. And it shows. If you ever eat at your place, you see that within everything that you do. It's absolutely incredible. And was there anyone else at that time when you came in and said, we're going to, elevate the Indian cuisine? Was anyone else trying to, or are you the first?
I would say we were the first. I don't think I can ever say I was the only instrument person in there. I mean, there was a whole team at Vij's that was responsible for working hard and remaining focused, and then my Shanti team and everybody else. So I don't want to take it away. I don't want to ever say it's only me. It's the whole team that puts the whole food together. But the vision was that same respect and love to the cuisine should be given to every human being, because we've always believed that we're all equal and we need to be treated with respect and love. Having said that, yes, we were the first ones that took the presentation to a different level altogether. We presented the food nicely. I'm passionate about wine. I love wines basically, and so we created this food and wine pairing programs where people just absolutely were able to taste Indian food with wines. And I had some great mentors, who were responsible for kind of just uplifting and respecting what I was doing and what I was planning to do.
So is that normal? Like, is that new also, or was that normal to pair wine with Indian food?
Traditionally, you would never drink wine with Indian food. Traditionally, you would drink scotch or beer beforehand, and then when you sit down to eat, because you're eating with your family and everything else, you normally would not drink wine at the table. I mean, now it's changed, but when I was growing up, men would always drink beforehand, and then they would come to the table and they would drink water or lassi or anything else. So to create that food and wine pairing, to say, okay, let's try the local wines, let's try the Gewürztraminas and the Chardonnays and the New World Marshal Foch and Cabernet Sauvignons, was something brand new, and it was created, just by learning and understanding the nuances of the food and the wine culture. And I'm a really big believer of the fact that we have a beautiful wine industry in our backyard. When you look at Langley and when you look at those areas, the Fraser Valley, I mean, the beautiful wineries. Okanagan does a fantastic job. Niagara Falls, St. Catharines does a fantastic job of creating great wines. So my point was, why do I need to drink wine from France or from Australia or from Spain when I have beautiful wines that are available in my backyard? And that's what I wanted to support. I wanted to support the local farmers, the local winemakers, the purveyors, and create that atmosphere. So especially at my Shanti, we only serve British Columbia wines and British Columbian beers because we have delicious produce available to us right here.
That's awesome. First of all, that's wicked. So I guess so on that, which is amazing. But I wanted to ask you about your dish, Chef. What's this lamb popsicles? Can you explain that a little bit about what this dish is? Because this is your dish.
Yeah. So it was weird. Everybody used to come to the restaurant and ask for butter chicken, because that is what's portrayed as Indian food. It's like going to a Chinese restaurant and asking for general, Tao's chicken. And I used to feel really frustrated because I used to be like, oh my God, there is more to Indian food than butter chicken. It needs to be served a little bit more. So we came up with this idea of saying, okay, let's create a dish which is meat, potatoes, and cream. And so we took the rack of lamb, marinated that in mustard and sweet white wine, potatoes, spinach, cream, and so the lamb popsicle. So then I would see people using their hands to eat the lamb. And I used to be like, oh my God, how can I tell people that they should use their hands? And so we were at a party one night, and a good friend of mine had brought these rack of lamb, and they were grilling it, and I was like, oh, you can eat it like a popsicle. And then it dawned on me that I need to call those lamb chops not rack of lamb, but lamb popsicles.
Love it.
And honestly, we didn't have to change anything. Just that name called lamb popsicles took off, and it became the signature of Vij's, which was a creation because it's delicious, first of all, no question about it. But it is meat, potatoes, and cream, something as simple as like steak frites. Potatoes, steak, mayonnaise sauce, cream, rich sauce. So you think about it, and then I realized that this is what everybody loves. We all love our meat, potatoes, and cream. And so the lamb popsicle is based on that. And it's something that put Vij's on the map. And some of the food writers just loved it and talked about it. Almost feels like it was like a one-hit wonder song-wise,
I think you've had a few more hits. Is it still on the menu? You can still order it, right?
It is still on the menu. And then we created something totally different at my Shanti, which is Vikram's favorite snack, which is like a little pizza. So I realized that people were loving the naan bread and the pizza and everything else. And so we put some mushrooms on the top, and we put this lamb popsicle sauce on the top, and we bake it in the oven with some fresh cilantro and green chilies. And suddenly that's taken off as Vikram's favorite snack. And it's like the most popular dish right now. And people just absolutely love it. But it's because, again, there is richness, there's flavor depth. It's fulfilling, it nurtures you. And most importantly, it's really tasty.
That usually helps. And first of all, your naan bread, I remember having it. You took us back to your kitchen, you made some up fresh. It was phenomenal. First of all, nothing beats that. It was amazing. So I gotta ask this other question to you, because it seems like you have a creative sense in you. You got the creative DNA that some of us have. How important it is to be creative when it comes to this industry, especially food.
It is extremely important. I mean, it's like music. The notes are the same, the spices are the same, but what you do with it and how you play with it and where you take that creativity is something that you have to sing and create your own music. I think people forget that creativity is the seed of flourishing in life, of being who you are. And whether you're painting, whether you're playing music, whether you're making clay pots, whether you're making food, you have to be creative. And creativity is the only form of survival. Because if you're not creative, then your juices don't flow as well as they're supposed to.
So what inspires you, chef, when you to get into?
I think traveling inspires me. I love to travel. I love to go to different parts. Sometimes I just like to, walk around in the middle of nowhere and just like to get lost. And I'm not scared. I'm not worried about things like this. So I love to travel. I love to go to different, restaurants and taste different foods and different passions of the chefs, whether it's on the streets or it is on somebody's home or it's at great restaurants. I love to travel, and I think traveling is extremely important to broaden your horizons, to understand the nuances of why a certain culture does what they do, and what the thought process is. And I think it's extremely important for me to travel. And if I could travel, I would travel 6 months of the year, just going to people's homes. And I'm going again. Back to Austria in July to go to the Danube River, and then again in the fall somewhere. I think it's so important to travel. I mean, if you don't travel, you don't experience.
Yeah, you truly are. And I know back in the day when I was with one restaurant group, is that was the thing. We went over 3 weeks to Europe, backpacked, did a lot of the street food. And you learn so much of it, right? And it's amazing how you can take street food, bring it back, put it on a dish, right? It's amazing what happens. Any favorite place that you've traveled?
Well, I was just in Guatemala in December, which I absolutely loved. I think it's a beautiful country. It's a beautiful place. Antigua was just beyond my imagination, how cute and how gorgeous it was. To see volcanoes like that, some were live, some were not, some were, dormant. To see food being made on the side streets with, the corn breads or corn tortillas, basically, was unbelievable. Flavors, how rich that country is as far as heritage is concerned, was beautiful. Before that, obviously India is one of my most beautiful destinations. I love going to, but I also love, Middle East. Like I love Morocco, for example, and I'm going to Egypt and Jordan in the fall, and I'm really looking forward to it, and hoping that I can come back and get inspired or be inspired or be inspiring to somebody else and create something new and different. And bring spices and ideas. We're just going to be launching a food concept in Toronto called Bombay Frankie, and it's like a burrito, a handheld burrito with egg wash and spices in it. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that, that part of it, but with maybe slightly little different spices and ounces, and ideas. And then we've also just launched Vij's for You spice line.
Cool.
It's vijsforyou.com. If you go on there, we have onion, ginger, garlic paste. We have some spices there as well. And so these are spices that have been sourced in India and brought over to North America. And people will be able to enjoy it. But this happens because you love to travel, That's very important.
It is very important. It is very important. So, Chef, what if you had something, because we've been through, it's been tough these last few years for a lot of people and a lot of restaurateurs out there. And, I've met with hundreds and hundreds of them over the last few years since we started this network. What would you say to anyone right now that's going to watch this later or tuned in today to watch this that would keep them inspired and moving forward, right? Like, because you're inspiring. Like, I love talking to you. Let alone eating your food and eating there. That's a whole different inspiration level. But what would you say to them right now? It's Asian Heritage Month. Want to celebrate it? What would you say to them right now to keep going?
I would say to them is eat food from different parts of Asia. So eat Japanese one day, eat Chinese one day, eat Sri Lankan, Indian, different parts of Asian food. Just because it's Asian Heritage Month, and learn and travel to those places. Go to Vietnam, go to Cambodia, go to Japan and visit those places, and get inspired and come back and create and understand and build respect and tolerances towards each other. Because if we don't build right now is the time for us to build this understanding of each other's cuisines, cultures, music, and it's extremely important that we do it. So what I would say to people is respect, break bread together with family, friends, and just love each other unconditionally.
Yeah, that is just awesome. It's beautiful, chef. And I want to respect your time today, but I can't thank you enough for jumping on our quick show here today. We had a comment here is, oh yeah, people are sending some comments here. But just want to say thank you so much for what you do to the industry, because you do inspire so many restaurateurs and chefs out there, especially in different cultures and different diversities and stuff like that, because you support everything. And just thank you for doing that and being a part of this amazing industry in Canada and really leading the way. And I can't thank you enough. And just awesome for you to be able to be on our show today.
Thank you. And I would say to all the young chefs that are out there, put yourself on the plate. So if you are of Japanese heritage, if you are of Vietnamese heritage, do not forget your heritage. Do not forget where you came from. Take those roots and put it together and put yourself on the plate. It doesn't matter whether you were born in North America or anywhere else. Bring your passion of where you came from onto the plate, and I promise you, you will achieve what you have manifested in your life.
Well said, chef. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
All the best. Thanks everyone else for joining today, and we'll chat with you next week. Thanks so much, chef. Take care. All the best.
Thank you.
There you go. Welcome everyone to Cisco Canada's. I think I hit my keyboard and it paused the video. So welcome everyone to Cisco Canada's virtual kitchen. We are super excited today to really talk about and celebrate Asian Heritage Month with a legend, a Canadian legend, restaurateur, chef, author, TED talker, Chef Vikram Vij. Thank you again for being today on our show.
Pleasure. Namaste and peace to all, and happiness in these tough and trying times.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chef. I'm going to call you Chef because we have a food show. We're going to call you Chef if that's okay with you, because you are an industry changer in my mind in Indian food. And first of all, I've ate at your restaurant. I had a pleasure of doing that before COVID hit. One of the best meals, and I don't just say this, I was just saying this earlier with him, with Chef. I don't just say that, but it was really cool. And it was funny when I got to meet you in person, was your passion. And I have met thousands of restaurateurs over my 32 years in the industry. You're the most passionate chef I've ever met. I like you are to walk around, and I'll never forget. It was raining outside, and you had to go show us the front and all your little, I don't know, the little things on your front of your restaurant, and you're so passionate about those, and just everything that in there had a reason and purpose, and it was just beautiful. So, uh, yeah, thank you again for being on today and helping us celebrate Asian Heritage Month. So I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions for you.
Yes.
A lot of questions and things like that. But let's discuss a little bit about your journey and how you became where you are today. Let's start back then. And how did you become a chef and a restaurateur and all this great crazy world you live in?
Well, I grew up in India, so I'm a somebody who loves food and has always enjoyed it. But I also love people. I'm a people's person. I'm a people pleaser. I have always enjoyed talking to people. So when I was a young kid, there are people who shy away from when somebody comes to their house. I was the kind of person who would like come out and say, "Oh, talk to me. I want to be seen." I was always the showman in that sense. Sometimes my mom used to say, or I call myself a joker. You're always making other people laugh, basically. And so I actually wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a Bollywood actor. And one day my father crushed my dreams by saying his son is not going to become an actor. He doesn't want his son to become an actor. And, at that time, India was going through so much turmoil of political unrest. And there was, fighting going on between Hindus and Sikhs at the time. And it was time to get out, and I went to Austria to become a chef. I got my chef's papers from Hotel Management School in Salzburg, which was a 3-year program. And then, it's funny in life, sometimes you look back and you think, oh my God, at that time it was such a pain, but in the end, it became a positive thing. As an Indian passport holder, I wasn't allowed to work for more than 6 months. At one place. So I would have to go to Germany, then I would have to go to France and Austria and different parts of the world every 6 months in order to be able to get a working visa. But then that gathered a lot of experience in French cooking and Italian cooking and different parts of the cooking of the world. And then I had this huge opportunity, which was very simple, basically. I was cooking in Austria, and the general manager of the Banff Springs Hotel was having dinner, and he wanted to have something spicy. He had gone skiing and he was tired. He was Hungarian, and he wanted to have something spicy. So obviously, the Austrian food is very simple and bland: salt and pepper, and extra butter and everything else. So the kitchen came to me and said, "Hey, listen, this guy wants something spicy," and I had some goulash soup and I spiced up Indian style. And he was really happy with it. And he said, young kids like you who speak English should come to Canada because it's a beautiful country. And I went to, 6 months later, I applied to him just because I'd heard Canada was this great country of immigrants, that people were going to be very friendly. And he gave me a visa for 6 months, and I came to Banff Springs Hotel, and I worked there for 3.5 years before I decided to come to Vancouver and open up my own restaurant. And the reason why I decided to open up a restaurant is because I felt that Indian food never got its respect, what it actually should. Our spices are as unique as any Italian or as French or any other Californian cuisine. Our spices are as unique and different. And I felt that we were like, we were called ethnic, suddenly, like we were just clumped together as Asian food or Mexican food. Like it was like, and I really felt passionate about it. And I stood up and I worked in great kitchens. I'd worked in great places, great restaurants. John Bishop was one of them. And I really felt that it was time to elevate the cuisine and the culture and my heritage to a different level altogether. And hence the journey of Vij, and here we are, remaining focused, loving what we do, and on top of it, most importantly, keeping the passion of food and wine, and bringing people and showing them that good food and good spices are as important as love and compassion.
Yeah. You mentioned that in your TED talk. You talk about that, the love, and you must have love and passion and care for your food. And it shows. If you ever eat at your place, you see that within everything that you do. It's absolutely incredible. And was there anyone else at that time when you came in and said, we're going to, elevate the Indian cuisine? Was anyone else trying to, or are you the first?
I would say we were the first. I don't think I can ever say I was the only instrument person in there. I mean, there was a whole team at Vij's that was responsible for working hard and remaining focused, and then my Shanti team and everybody else. So I don't want to take it away. I don't want to ever say it's only me. It's the whole team that puts the whole food together. But the vision was that same respect and love to the cuisine should be given to every human being, because we've always believed that we're all equal and we need to be treated with respect and love. Having said that, yes, we were the first ones that took the presentation to a different level altogether. We presented the food nicely. I'm passionate about wine. I love wines basically, and so we created this food and wine pairing programs where people just absolutely were able to taste Indian food with wines. And I had some great mentors, who were responsible for kind of just uplifting and respecting what I was doing and what I was planning to do.
So is that is that new also, or was that normal to pair wine with Indian food?
Traditionally, you would never drink wine with Indian food. Traditionally, you would drink scotch or beer beforehand, and then when you sit down to eat, because you're eating with your family and everything else, you normally would not drink wine at the table. I mean, now it's changed, but when I was growing up, men would always drink beforehand, and then they would come to the table and they would drink water or lassi or anything else. So to create that food and wine pairing, to say, okay, let's try the local wines. Let's try the Gewürztraminer and the Chardonnays and the New World Marshal Foch and Cabernet Sauvignons was something brand new, and it was created, just by learning and understanding the nuances of the food and the wine culture. And I'm a really big believer of the fact that we have a beautiful wine industry in our backyard. When you look at Langley and when you look at those areas, the Fraser Valley, I mean, the beautiful wineries. Okanagan does a fantastic job. Niagara Falls, St. Catharines does a fantastic job of creating great wines. So my point was, why do I need to drink wine from France or from Australia or from Spain when I have beautiful wines that are available in my backyard? And that's what I wanted to support. I wanted to support the local farmers, the local winemakers, the purveyors, and create that atmosphere. So especially at my Shanti, we only serve British Columbia wines and British Columbian beers, because we have delicious produce available to us right here.
That's awesome. First of all, that's wicked. So I guess so on that, which is amazing. But I wanted to ask you about your dish, Chef. What's this lamb popsicles? Can you explain that a little bit about what this dish is? Because this is your dish.
Yeah. So it was weird. Everybody used to come to the restaurant and ask for butter chicken, because that is what is portrayed as Indian food. It's like going to a Chinese restaurant and asking for general, Tao's chicken. And I used to feel really frustrated, because I used to be like, oh my God, there is more to Indian food than butter chicken. It needs to be served a little bit more. So we came up with this idea of saying, okay, let's create a dish which is meat, potatoes, and cream. And so we took the rack of lamb, marinated that in mustard and sweet white wine, potatoes, spinach, cream, and so lamb popsicle. So then I would see people using their hands to eat the lamb. And I used to be like, oh my God, how can I tell people that they should use their hands? And so we were at a party one night, and a good friend of mine had brought these rack of lamb, and they were grilling it, and I was like, oh, you can eat it like a popsicle. And then it dawned on me that I need to call those lamb chops not rack of lamb, but lamb popsicles.
Love it.
And honestly, we didn't have to change anything. Just that name called lamb popsicles took off and became the signature of Vij's, which was a creation because it's delicious, first of all, no question about it. But it is meat, potatoes, and cream, something as simple as like steak frites. Potatoes, steak, mayonnaise sauce, cream, rich sauce. So you think about it, and then I realized that this is what everybody loves. We all love our meat, potatoes, and cream. And so the lamb popsicle is based on that, and it's something that put Vij's on the map, and some of the food writers just loved it and talked about it. Almost.
One I would say is just people doing it like 14 days after you've made that tip, which is insane to be waiting that long for your money.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. Well, I remember being a server, and I mean, at that time, I'm going to date myself, but it's cash in your pocket.
Yeah.
And you expect to go home at the end of the day. That's how you're paying your rent. That's how you're paying your tuition.
100%.
Your books, right? So with everything being e-payments, what percentage of those transactions are e-payments now?
So right now it's almost at 95% of all businesses are taking in digital payments. So like back, I would even say let's let's just reverse 5 to 7 years ago. I would say it was a 70% was pretty digital, and at least that 30% of cash on hand was how they were going to be able to pay out the tips because they had it. Now it's at 95%. Everybody pays Amex, Discover, MasterCard, Visa, or debit. And then that little 5% doesn't make up the difference of how much money you need on hand to move out the money for tips.
Now, I also heard a lot, I think you mentioned this before, it does increase retention.
Yes.
For people, employees, and for restaurants.
Yeah.
How much? This is a big time?
So, I mean, with some of the big syndicate restaurant groups that are trying to retain people, a lot of the cultural things had to change in restaurants. Like, 2 years ago, we got smoked with a pandemic, and then everybody pivots and goes and does something different. And then, there was a number of different reasons as to why they left. And a lot of the, I would say the pain points for staff was, how am I treated? Am I getting a staff meal? Am I getting my money on time? Am I getting, paid out properly? And we just want to be a part of the solution going forward. And I feel like, digital is the future of everything in a restaurant. And if you have a great tech stack, you can drive profitability that way. And Jay, have I mentioned to you that the entire program's free?
You didn't hear that part, Em?
Yeah, like the best part.
Emily, give us your
This is our
God
shopping
face.
channel moment. I love it.
Yeah.
Tell me more, Dylan.
Yeah, Emily. No, sorry. We don't charge for the solution at all. Our revenue model is based purely on transactional spend after the fact. So the server that has the free bank account that we offer to them, and the restaurant that needs the solution from an operational efficiencies perspective, neither of those people pay XTM. We generate all of our revenue from MasterCard kickback after the fact. So pretty ingenious when you think about restaurants that might not have after the last couple of years might not have more money for more things. We're trying to help that way for sure.
Well, especially for those small operators who not only may not have the cash flow, but even the time.
The time. It's all the
Figure it
time.
out, right?
Yeah, time is really money, and that's the currency here. Time.
Well, I just remember going to the banks with so I have a couple stories. This is just what you get. Is not the SNL story, but I remember walking to the bank with tons of cash back from the bank to pay the servers.
Yeah.
It was terrifying because I was downtown in a city.
Yeah.
We had a club, and you would come back and you were carrying thousands of dollars in cash.
20 grand in your inside breast pocket of your lapel. Yeah.
Well, so this is perfect for casinos. Because casinos have tons of cash. And I remember I worked with some casinos back when I was consulting. And I remember one that he said that every day he walked through the casino with a toolkit, like an old, those old metal red tool boxes, I guess.
Yeah.
And he said he had over $500,000 in that in cash.
Wow.
And he says, I walked through like I was the janitor and people wouldn't even touch me.
Yeah.
Smart guy. But that's because he was scared. To do, if he had briefcases, what would people think?
Well, exactly, right? So he used the toolkit. Right?
I told you before, Jay. So anybody in the ecosystem with tips is a client. We're publicly traded, so this piece of information will come out as a press release at some point. So I won't say the name, but on your casino play, we just signed a very large casino that's interested in paying out their actual dealers at the tables.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes so much
Blackjack
sense.
Are
dealers.
they the similar? Like they have like a 1 week payout?
No, they get paid daily, but they just don't want to have the cash component to pay out, and it's all going to fall in line with their wages and their gratuity. But more to come on that. But just saying that you're in the same ballpark to think that casinos is the.
I'm always in the ballpark.
Yeah, you're in the ballpark, Jay.
Well, and just like
still.
We'll razz you later, Jay.
I know.
There's obviously the financial implications, the labor retention benefits to this program, but I can't stress enough, like as a female who's been in the industry, the safety component of what you're bringing forward is massive. Like I used to do cash outs to the bank. I used to do the bank runs in the morning as well when I was in the restaurant, but even going home at the end of the night, you have a big night of tips and you're closing the restaurant bar and lounge and you're going home at 3 a.m. Like that's a huge safety risk. And
my wife's going to kill me for telling this story, but I do tell it once in a while. I wasn't actually even married to her at the time, but she just was recovering from an injury when I had first started to go out with her. And I said, "What's wrong with you? Like, you seem like you're laboring." And she said, downtown Toronto, she was a lead bartender at a restaurant on King Street. She was walking home. Two girls followed her down into an alley and beat the crap out of her.
Serious?
Broke 3 ribs and took her wallet. Because she had routinely been going home with $500 in cash, and they just planned it out. And she's a 120-pound girl, like walking down the street at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
What could she have done with her earbuds on, with her head down, right?
Yeah.
And they jumped her and took her bag. But anyway, all I'm saying, Emily, is you're absolutely right. It's a serious concern.
Now, you would also prevent, I think, a lot of servers on spending a ton of that cash. Then, because every night you would go home, if you were able to pay out.
By the time you're home, you've spent it all, Jay.
Exactly.
Because you've got the cash. You stop at Earl's, then you stop at Cactus Club, then
Denny's.
you're home. Denny's,
Do the rounds.
Pancake House, yeah. And then by the end that you're home, you've got $50, but you made $300.
Exactly.
It's all gone. So yeah, you're right.
What's the average server nowadays? Maybe you may not know that. You probably do. What's the average server nowadays making in the industry in Canada? Because back when I was running a club, some of my servers, and this is 20 some years ago, don't add them, they were doing between $300 to $500 20 years ago in the club.
Yeah.
Right? We were a high martini lounge kind of place, but what's it today?
So we've got it broken down into three levels, from not QSR, but fast casual, full service, fine dining, and then fine dining and bottle service are almost similar in money. Downtown, and it depends, Jay, because if you look at a metropolitan like Toronto, downtown in the finance district, you could, $500-600 if you're working at the right spot per day. And by the way, you love to see it. Like we've been smoked for 2 years, so you love to see people get prosperity, get some money back in their pocket. But I would say from a front of house perspective, it's on a weekly basis. If you're still cracking $1,000 in a week, you're doing all right.
Wow.
So you're making $4,000 a month, and plus your wages.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, it's a great gig if you love what you do. And I mean, I was a career hospitality. I've been in dishwasher when I was 12 years old, and never left. And I don't know if I'll ever leave restaurants. Right? It's just.
Well, you're providing one of the coolest things I've seen in my 30 some years in this industry. This is probably the coolest thing, that I've seen.
What
really
a great compliment. I do really appreciate that. All of us at XCM, our entire team, we're all super proud of what we've built together. And hopefully we can, truly change hospitality for the better, because that's what our goal has always been.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see our little logo on those cards.
Yeah. Hey, we should do a plug on that.
Yes.
So, so excited to be working with Cisco. With the Cisco's Virtual Kitchen Network, and Jay and shout out to Matt Rolfe for connecting us. But we're gonna do a joint partnership with Cisco, and brand a Cisco card, and all the tips that it will be a Cisco restaurant that goes on the program will have a branded Cisco card, which is very cool for you guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, right? So. So any future things that you can share with us? Any little secret tricks or things you got in the bag coming up?
Yeah, so we just launched in the U.S. Last quarter. That's a lot of our focus is there. Right now in Canada, we have over 100,000 cardholders. So we're proud of that work, but we're ready to reload and go down south and do it again. And so that's exciting for us. Every single day we're working at that. We're about to launch a tip pool calculator. So baked right into your point of sale. Now the calculations and the brain behind where the tips are going will all be done for you with our program Today Pool.
So just wait a second.
Yeah.
That means you're finished your shift. You got the little old calculator beside you.
Gone.
Yeah.
You don't need it anymore. You just punch out and our APIs pull your net sales, pull your hours worked, and then it'll just do a calculation, push it to your manager. Your manager says, yes, it's right, says approved. There's one touch point, and then it pushes to our XCM Tips Today card.
All mobile,
all turnkey.
So easy.
You one stop, one shop, right? Like you don't have to have 5 different plugins for the same thing. We're going to do it all. And if you're not a pooled house and you're a calculated house, like a 5% of net sales or whatever, we'll give you the buckets that you can set like a percentage based on your buckets. So that's really intuitive and something from an innovation perspective we're proud of.
I hate to say it, but a lot of servers would mess that up. The old calculations, there was always error.
Human error is the real reason why you want that efficiency and you want that driven right into your POS, because it's just a math equation.
Yeah.
Right. And if there's no human error, then why does it need to be so hard?
Yeah.
and going back in tips paid out and then saying, "Oh, I made a mistake," is
Oh.
harder to reconcile, Jay.
Wow, you're bringing back memories.
Oh,
Do you
God.
remember that, Em?
How many hours would you spend sitting in that office?
The worst.
Right?
Oh,
Counting
yeah.
the cash and how it smells. Right?
Oh,
yeah. Or you're in, it's 7 o'clock and you're in like a really important service, and your server that just got cut says, "Can we go downstairs? Can you get me my tips?"
Yeah,
And you're like, "Hey,
yeah.
man, I'm in service right now. Like, I'll call you later."
So many memories, right? And then
Yeah.
they would wait, and then you would be late. You screw things up.
Yeah,
But the errors were big. I remember the errors, and then you had to go back in the next morning and fix.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Nightmare.
That was a
100%.
nightmare. That sells me right there. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And then the last one is, as they're spending on our cards, we're giving cash back. So we partner with a company called Drop Rewards.
Yeah.
54,000 merchants across the US and Canada. If they're spending at food, at Best Buy, Foot Locker, Apple, Sonos, Sephora, Mac Makeup, wherever they're going to spend their money, we're going to give them 3% cash back, 2%, whatever the skew is, of money rebated right back onto their Today card. So just constantly trying to figure out how to continue to drive innovation with our product.
That's cool.
That's no cost.
That's very
And it's
cool.
free.
And it's free.
You just keep making this sound better, Dylan.
I know, exactly, Dylan.
I'm
That's
like ready
so
to
cool.
get back into a restaurant myself.
Yeah,
just
just to get a Today card.
Totally.
Love it.
And it's Canadian.
It's a proudly Canadian company from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
That's so cool, dude. So
Yeah.
good. Well, thanks again for dropping in, Dylan.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to partner with you, be a part of it. This is really one of the coolest things out there.
I really appreciate the time, Jay, and excited to work with you more holistically moving forward.
You bet.
And enjoy the rest of the show.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Em.
Yeah,
Thanks
for being
again.
here.
Nice
There
to
we
meet you,
go.
Emily.
You too.
Awesome. We'll be right back, folks.
Looking for staff training? Food cost advantages? Interested in robotics for your business? Cisco Advantage features best-in-class companies to make sure you have the right tools to optimize your business and increase traffic. We have negotiated exclusive Cisco discounts with business partners to help you compete, stay in the game, and focus on what you do best. Our collection of offerings includes specialized services, technology, tools, and personalized consultations designed to make you more efficient, increase your profits, and make it easier for you to manage your operations. Visit cisco.ca or speak with your Cisco representative to learn more.
It is still on the menu, and then we created something totally different at my Shanti, which is Vikram's favorite snack, which is like a little pizza. So I realized that people were loving the naan bread and the pizza and everything else. And so we put some mushrooms on the top, and we put this lamb popsicle sauce on the top, and we bake it in the oven with some fresh cilantro and green chilies. And suddenly that's taken off as Vikram's favorite snack. And it's like the most popular dish right now. And people just absolutely love it. But it's because, again, there is richness, there's flavor depth. It's fulfilling, it nurtures you. And most importantly, it's really tasty.
That usually helps. You know, and first of all, your naan bread, I remember having it. You took us back to your kitchen. You made some up fresh. It was phenomenal, first of all. Nothing beats that. It was amazing. So I got to ask this other question to you, because it seems like you have a creative sense in you. You got the creative DNA that some of us have. How important it is to be creative when it comes to this industry, especially food.
It is extremely important. I mean, it's like music. The notes are the same, the spices are the same, but what you do with it and how you play with it and where you take that creativity is something that you have to sing and create your own music. I think people forget that creativity is the seed of flourishing in life, of being who you are. And whether you're painting, whether you're playing music, whether you're making clay pots, whether you're making food, you have to be creative. And creativity is the only form of survival. Because if you're not creative, then your juices don't flow as well as they're supposed to. You know.
So what inspires you, Chef, when you to get into?
I think traveling inspires me. I love to travel. I love to go to different parts. Sometimes I just like to, walk around in the middle of nowhere and just like to get lost. And I'm not scared. I'm not worried about things like this. So I love to travel. I love to go to different, restaurants and taste different foods and different passions of the chefs, whether it's on the streets or it is on somebody's home or it's at great restaurants. I love to travel, and I think traveling is extremely important to broaden your horizons, to understand the nuances of why a certain culture does what they do, and what the thought process is. And I think it's extremely important for me to travel. And if I could travel, I would travel 6 months of the year, just going to people's homes. And I'm going again, back to Austria in July to go to the Danube River, and then again in the fall somewhere. I think it's so important to travel. I mean, if you don't travel, you don't experience.
Yeah, you truly are. And I know back in the day when I was with one restaurant group, is that was the thing. We went over 3 weeks to Europe, backpacked, did a lot of the street food, and you learn so much of it, right? And it's amazing how you can take street food, bring it back, put it on a dish, right? It's amazing what happens. Any favorite place that you've traveled?
Well, I was just in Guatemala in December, which I absolutely loved. I think it's a beautiful country. It's a beautiful place. Antigua was just beyond my imagination, how cute and how gorgeous it was to see volcanoes like that. Some were live, some were not, some were, dormant. To see food being made on the sides, streets with, the corn breads or corn tortillas, basically, was unbelievable. Flavors, how rich that country is as far as heritage is concerned, was beautiful. Before that, obviously India is one of my most beautiful destinations. I love going to, but I also love, Middle East. Like I love Morocco, for example, and I'm going to Egypt and Jordan in the fall, and I'm really looking forward to it, and hoping that I can come back and get inspired or be inspired, or be inspiring to somebody else, and create something new and different, and bring spices and ideas. We're just going to be launching a food concept in Toronto called Bombay Frankie, and it's like a burrito, a handheld burrito with egg wash and spices in it. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that, that part of it, but with maybe slight little different spices and answers, and ideas. And then we've also just launched Vij's for You spice line.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's vijisforyou.com. If you go on there, we have onion, ginger, garlic paste. We have some spices there as well. And so these are spices that have been sourced in India and brought over to North America. And people will be able to enjoy it. But this happens because you love to travel, that's very
Yeah,
important.
it is very important. It is very important. So, Chef, what if you had something, because we've been through, it's been tough these last few years for a lot of people and a lot of restaurateurs out there. And, I've met with hundreds and hundreds of them over the last few years since we started this network. What would you say to anyone right now that's going to watch this later or tuned in today to watch this that would keep them inspired and moving forward, right? Like, because you're inspiring. Like, I love talking to you. Let alone eating your food and eating there. That's a whole different inspiration level. But what would you say to them right now? It's Asian Heritage Month. Want to celebrate it? What would you say to them right now to keep going?
I would say to them is eat food from different parts of Asia. So eat Japanese one day, eat Chinese one day, eat Sri Lankan, Indian, different parts of Asian food, just because it's Asian Heritage Month. And learn and travel to those places. Go to Vietnam, go to Cambodia, go to Japan and visit those places, and get inspired and come back and create and understand and build respect and tolerances towards each other. Because if we don't build right now is the time for us to build this understanding of each other's cuisines, cultures, music, and it's extremely important that we do it. So what I would say to people is respect break bread together with family, friends, um, and just love each other unconditionally.
Yeah, that is just awesome. It's beautiful, chef. And I want to respect your time today, but I can't thank you enough for jumping on our quick show here today. I just we had a comment here is oh yeah, people are sending some comments here. But just want to say thank you so much for what you do to the industry, because you do inspire so many restaurateurs and chefs out there, especially in different cultures and different diversities and stuff like that, because you support everything. And just thank you for doing that and being a part of this amazing industry in Canada and really leading the way. And I can't thank you enough. And just awesome for you to be able to be on our show today.
Thank you. And I would say to all the young chefs that are out there, put yourself on the plate. So if you are of Japanese heritage, if you are of Vietnamese heritage, do not forget your heritage. Do not forget where you came from. Take those roots and put it together and put yourself on the plate. It doesn't matter whether you were born in North America or anywhere else. Bring your passion of where you came from onto the plate, and I promise you, you will achieve what you have manifested in your life.
Well said, chef. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
All the best. Thanks everyone else for joining today, and we'll chat with you next week. Thanks so much, chef. Take care. All the best.
Thank you.
There you go. Welcome everyone to Cisco Canada's. I think I hit my keyboard and it paused the video. So welcome everyone to Cisco Canada's virtual kitchen. We are super excited today to really talk about and celebrate Asian Heritage Month with a legend, a Canadian legend, restaurateur, chef, author, TED talker, Chef Vikram Vij. Thank you again for being today on our show.
Pleasure. Namaste and peace to all, and happiness in these tough and trying times.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chef. I'm going to call you Chef because we have a food show. We're going to call you Chef if that's okay with you, because you are an industry changer in my mind in Indian food. And first of all, I've ate at your restaurant. I had a pleasure of doing that before COVID hit. One of the best meals, and I don't just say this, I was just saying this earlier with him, with Chef. I don't just say that, but it was really cool. And it was funny when I got to meet you in person, was your passion. And I have met thousands of restaurateurs over my 32 years in the industry. You're the most passionate chef I've ever met. I like you are, to walk around, and I'll never forget. It was raining outside, and you had to go show us the front, and all your little, I don't know, the little things on your front of your restaurant, and you're so passionate about those, and just everything that in there had a reason and purpose, and it was just beautiful. So, yeah, thank you again for being on today and helping us celebrate Asian Heritage Month. So I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions for you.
Yes.
A lot of questions and things like that. But let's discuss a little bit about your journey and how you became where you are today. Let's start back then. And how did you become a chef and a restaurateur in all this great crazy world you live in?
Well, I grew up in India, so I'm a somebody who loves food and has always enjoyed it. But I also love people. I'm a people's person. I'm a people pleaser. I have always enjoyed talking to people. So when I was a young kid, there are people who shy away from when somebody comes to their house. I was the kind of person who would like come out and say, "Oh, talk to me. I want to be seen." I was always the showman in that sense. Sometimes my mom used to say, or I call myself a joker. You're always making other people laugh, basically. And so I actually wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a Bollywood actor. And one day my father crushed my dreams by saying his son is not going to become an actor. He doesn't want his son to become an actor. And at that time, India was going through so much turmoil of political unrest, and there was, fighting going on between Hindus and Sikhs at the time. And it was time to get out, and I went to Austria to become a chef. I got my chef's papers from Hotel Management School in Salzburg, which was a 3-year program. And then, it's funny in life, sometimes you look back and you think, oh my God, at that time it was such a pain, but in the end, it became a positive thing. As an Indian passport holder, I wasn't allowed to work for more than 6 months at one place. So I would have to go to Germany, then I would have to go to France and Austria and different parts of the world every 6 months in order to be able to get a working visa. But then that gathered a lot of experience in French cooking and Italian cooking and different parts of the cooking of the world. And then I had this huge opportunity, which was very simple, basically. I was cooking in Austria, and the general manager of the Banff Springs Hotel was having dinner, and he wanted to have something spicy. He had gone skiing and he was tired. He was Hungarian, and he wanted to have something spicy. So obviously, the Austrian food is very simple and bland, salt and pepper and, extra butter and everything else. So the kitchen came to me and said, hey, listen, this guy wants something spicy. And I had some goulash soup and I spiced up Indian style. And he was really happy with it. And he says, young kids like you who speak English should come to Canada because it's a beautiful country. And I went to, 6 months later, I applied to him just because I'd heard Canada was this great country of immigrants, that people were going to be very friendly. And he gave me a visa for 6 months, and I came to Banff Springs Hotel, and I worked there for 3.5 years before I decided to come to Vancouver and open up my own restaurant. And the reason why I decided to open up a restaurant is because I felt that Indian food never got its respect, what it actually should. Our spices are as unique as any Italian or as French or any other Californian cuisine. Our spices are as unique and different. And I felt that we were like, we were called ethnic, suddenly, like we were just clumped together as Asian food or Mexican food. Like it was like, and I really felt passionate about it. And I stood up and I worked in great kitchens. I'd worked in great places, great restaurants. John Bishop was one of them. And I really felt that it was time to elevate the cuisine and the culture and my heritage to a different level altogether. And hence the journey of Vij's, and here we are, remaining focused, loving what we do, and on top of it, most importantly, keeping the passion of food and wine and bringing people and showing them that good food and good spices are as important as love and compassion.
Yeah, you mentioned that in your TED Talk. You talk about that, the love, and you must have love and passion and care for your food. And it shows. If you ever eat at your place, you see that within everything that you do. It's absolutely incredible. And was there anyone else at that time when you came in and said, we're going to, elevate the Indian cuisine? Was anyone else trying to, or are you the first?
I would say we were the first. I don't think I can ever say I was the only instrumental person in there. I mean, there was a whole team at Vij's that was responsible for working hard and remaining focused, and then my Shanti team and everybody else. So I don't want to take it away. I don't want to ever say it's only me. It's the whole team that puts the whole food together. But the vision was that same respect and love to the cuisine should be given to every human being, because we've always believed that we're all equal and we need to be treated with respect and love. Having said that, yes, we were the first ones that took the presentation to a different level altogether. We presented the food nicely. I'm passionate about wine. I love wines basically, and so we created this, food and wine pairing programs where people just absolutely were able to taste Indian food with wines. And I had some great mentors, who were responsible for kind of just uplifting and respecting what I was doing and what I was planning to do.
So is that is that new also, or was that normal to pair wine with Indian food?
Traditionally, you would never drink wine with Indian food. Traditionally, you would drink scotch or beer beforehand, and then when you sit down to eat, because you're eating with your family and everything else, you normally would not drink wine at the table. I mean, now it's changed, but when I was growing up, men would always drink beforehand, and then they would come to the table and they would drink water or lassi or anything else. So to create that food and wine pairing, to say, okay, let's try the local wines, let's try the Gewürztraminer and the Chardonnays and the New World Marshal Foch and Cabernet Sauvignons.
Welcome everyone to the it's taking pictures. I hate pictures. Selfies. Okay. Welcome everyone to the MHA and MRFA, which is the Manitoba Hotel Association Restaurant Association as well, right? Yeah, you guys are all like,
Yep.
The cameras are on you, Chris.
Double down.
Exactly. So welcome to our show. We're live here for all today, and we've got an amazing guest, Chris from App 8, joining us, which I didn't know you were going to be here. Thanks for letting me know either.
Oh, yeah. You too.
Yeah.
Same.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Goes well with things. Right. And we got Emily Fergus.
Ferguson.
Thank you.
Don't worry, we'll get
Scottish,
that in editing.
It's not that difficult.
I haven't even touched the cake. And Yasmin's here as well. Yas, this is your first time?
Yeah, it's my first time.
First time?
For show,
I think
for
you're a
SVK.
natural.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Awesome. So, Chris, tell us about App 8, because you know what? I bet you Yasmin doesn't know anything about App 8, do you? Yes.
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Great.
Educate us.
Educate us,
Please.
Yeah,
Chris.
for sure. So, so App8 is an omni-channel ordering service. Pretty much everything that you need to get your restaurant online, whether it's someone's doing takeout ordering, dine-in mobile ordering. You want to build digital menus. People could actually click into social media now. So I think really what we're trying to do is give restaurants the ability to reach their guests no matter where they're dining from with a very consistent experience, because you can't control that experience anymore like you used to be able to, because right now we're in the kind of the era of the multi-channel, multi-channel ordering, whether that's through third-party ordering, first-party ordering, on-site through your servers, things like that. So what we're looking to do is give this tool so that restaurants can keep their brand consistent, their ordering consistent, and really take back control of what that experience looks like. Because I feel like, especially over the last couple of years, they've lost a lot of that control. People are ordering from new places and different places, so we're trying to help them get back that control, that consistency, and also improve service and save money by serving more guests.
Everybody likes that.
Yeah.
Right. So, Chris, Canadian company?
Yep, Canadian company founded in Ottawa, Canada. Actually, before the pandemic, it was founded. The co-founders told me they were just they really hated going to a restaurant where they had an amazing experience, and then they would sit there waiting. Would you like anything else? They'd be like, nope, just the bills. And then they'd wait and wait and wait. What was an otherwise amazing experience could quickly be soured because they're just waiting for a check or waiting for the bill, or if there's an issue, they got to go back. And, if you're like me, you probably want to get on with your night. But once I finished eating, that's where I'm like, cool, my head's already at the next place I'm going to go to. And so then everything's kind of taken away from that if it's not fast. So what they really wanted to conquer, too, was that mobile payments in a full service restaurant where you could pretty much pay with a phone in almost every other dining establishment type, whether it's fast casual, QSR, fast food. And so I think the challenge they took on was how do we, we can't just build an online ordering or a payment solution that you have online because there's a physical space, there's servers, there's other guests, there's point of sale systems that they're already interacting with. So I think what they did a really good job of initially was, really figuring that out. It wasn't an established space. And so then by the time, the last couple of years where everybody's kind of been racing to this space, we're coming from having that experience of building the initial product for the full service restaurant space.
So Yaz, you can ask questions too.
Okay.
Do you want to start?
You take the lead on the questions.
Anyways, Chris, we've been a partner with you for some time now. Has it been over a year now?
It's been, I think we're almost at 2 years.
Is it 2 years?
I was one of your first Advantage partners before, when we were just getting started.
Well, it was around COVID time, right?
Early in the pandemic.
It was just after, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, have we seen the continued growth from your people signing up with Happy?
Yeah, definitely. When it became like it was a nice to have, I think, like a solution like ours. It could be a great operations tool if you got full buy-in. But then once the pandemic hit, it was like, okay, the secret's out. Like everybody's moving towards, moving towards a space of digital marketing. There was like digital menu companies, online ordering companies, point of sale companies, payment companies, everybody trying to get into this space. And so what we did as well is we quickly expanded into those more well-established realms like digital menus, mobile ordering, online ordering. So we're able to actually pull some great examples that were already in the market, and then quickly expand our offering to continue to grow, kind of off that base that we had or that strength that we had, which was the well integrated solutions with the point of sale and the payment, as well as the familiarity with the physical service space.
So, Chris, you can ask Chris any question in the industry. He literally is the smartest man in the food service industry. Seriously. Yeah, we've had many late night calls, me and Chris, and talking about the industry and things like that. Chris, what is some of the most exciting things right now you're seeing that's happening in the industry outside of Apping? One of them.
I mean, I'm loving these robots that are rolling around here. I know that we were already talking. We talked to them on the Restaurant Tech Show back in the fall, and I think everywhere I go, I've seen people talking about them, and we even, over at the Ideal POS booth, everyone parked there, and I think that's one of the main draws right now. They're also even just digitizing a lot of the friction points in restaurants. So I know the Ideal team, they're really promoting like the kitchen videos. So in fast food, you'll have like all your orders up on the window, and you can very quickly move through that. So they're trying to move that into full service restaurant space or larger kitchens. So you're no longer handling pieces of paper and putting them up, and you're removing those friction points by digitizing everything. So all the orders are automatically pushed from the point of sale to the kitchen video. It's up there. They don't need to actually stop doing something to move papers around or to check things or to look closer because it's a nice big video. And then I think of what we're doing right now, we're part of a big trend, which is kind of moving from that third-party ordering to first-party ordering, or to try to take back control of that experience. So there's a lot of great companies providing different solutions for that. But even someone like Skip the Dishes and Uber Eats, I think they get a lot of flack for charging high fees, but they charge high fees because they put butts in seats, which is one of the hardest things to do in a restaurant, and that's what you pay for. But now restaurants that they've seen what this looks like and they know what online ordering and everything looks like, they can start saying, okay, we're going to acquire a customer through one of maybe it costs more money, but maybe it costs more money to acquire that customer, but now they can then transfer them over to a first-party ordering system or something they've set up themselves. I think that's what restaurants are going to be going through. Especially this season will probably be the busiest season in a couple of years, and they've used a bunch of tools. But now it's okay. How do we consolidate them? How do we become more efficient, more profitable again? That we have traffic coming through the doors. So I think there's going to be multiple parts of that we're a part of. Those kitchen displays are a part of, and I think it's I think it's a good time for restaurants. It's a lot of great solutions out there.
Well, and if you're really leveraging those solutions, I mean, that's the secret to survival right now, because your brand and your marketing, I'm in marketing, so of course that's what I'm going to talk about passionately, but if you don't have control over your restaurant's brand everywhere you're showing up, you're at risk of, that inconsistent experience, that you're not telling your story, and you're not collecting your data either, right? So data is everything, and if we can use that better.
For sure. There were a lot of restaurateurs that you talk to, and I think some of the some of the feeling was, oh, I just can't wait until we get back to normal. And I mean, even ask someone like me, you ask what's the future of dining look like, or what's dining going to look like this summer. And I think, well, I don't think anybody really knows, because not only have we gone from, being dining in restaurants where people will talk to you, interact with you, there's a big hospitality element. There's certain things that you could only get in the restaurant. Well, the last couple of years, everybody shifted to online ordering in some capacity or some kind of takeout ordering. So now you're competing with, people sitting on their couch. I can conveniently order something on my phone, sit here, and be super comfortable. So I think restaurants are going to be challenged to find unique reasons or ways to bring people out. Now, it could be a unique dining experience. It could be like something like karaoke or a buffet or an all-you-can-eat or a teppanyaki. But I think that there's going to be more competition for creating unique dining experiences, more than just having good food at good prices, because people can order that from home now.
I have to tell you, I heard an amazing experience last week with a restaurant in Toronto, the Lazy Daisy. Was it the Lazy Daisy? I think it was Lazy Daisy. But they record, so it's really interesting because you talk about that experience.
Mm-hmm.
But and I've never heard of this. I've been doing this for a while. They record every story that it's a story in that restaurant at night in a book. So they capture all the stories of every night. So they can go back years and see, weird dude came in restaurant, ordered this and that, and had this and had fun. It was a story. So they're capturing all the stories, and they can publish it later.
Yeah.
Right? So your guests are part of a community involvement, creating an experience, but putting it into a book format from all the real stories that happen in the restaurant. That has to be one of the coolest ideas.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's unique. Cool. Unique, right?
Well, that's it. I mean, people want to hear stories like that, right? They say, all the best conversations are in the comments. So you hear about a great restaurant, you can read what the back of the book jacket says, right? But then either those stories or people's feedback or comments, I'm sure there's some kind of opt-in you can get as well that people could verify a story, or just instead of just saying, this was my feedback, they could reach to their customer and say, hey, he wrote up this little story. Would you love to put your name on it? And then all of a sudden you've got a review, but it's crafted like a nice story.
Well, what's nice about that too is that young people like Yas would love to be in a story in a restaurant, so she might want to go there because it's like, hey, we can go there, have a great meal, but we get to create a story in this book, in this restaurant.
Oh. And just think of how many people go to a restaurant specifically ready to post a story online to talk about their experience. So I mean, there's a collaboration that can happen right there. Why can't the two sides talk, right?
Yeah, that's what you think.
Yeah, incredible. I would love that.
See?
Yeah. It's unique. It's an added feature to it, and we're a dining experience to a restaurant. So.
Yes. What do you look for in a dining experience?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I look for a good ambiance, amazing food, a good experience, good service, products that are sourced from a variety of different places. And you can really tell when a chef puts love into their food and when a restaurant operator loves their business and what they do. So.
I think it's especially true. Yeah, I think it's especially true when you find a unique ingredient in an otherwise normal dish. So I think it goes to Einstein used to say, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. And I think even if it's a simple dish, if you understand it well enough and you can sub in a unique ingredient, there's even drinks. I'll get a tree gum or something, or there'll be some bark shavings, and all of a sudden I'm wow, this actually tastes really good. I'm that must be a really good mixologist that actually could say, well, I understand this dish so well, this drink so well, or this dish so well. I'm going to try to swap out some of these things to make it unique, right? And actually to draw. You talk about good sourced items and unique menus and things like that. Well, I think that's what people are going to do the restaurants are going to have to do this to bring people, get them off the couch.
I think there'll be a draw. I really think we are such social creatures that we'll want to get back out and do things again.
But it's a honeymoon phase.
Do you think so?
Maybe. We'll see. Well, that's what I don't know.
You don't think so, yes?
But imagine you're I'm excited to get back out. And then you get back out and you go to a couple restaurants again. And then you're like, cool, that was fun. What do you want to do next week? It's we could just order in maybe, or, But that's what I'm curious about. I actually don't know, but I'm curious if that happens.
Well, I don't know. Last night we went for coffee. And I think everyone was not, it was packed.
Yeah, it was packed at the Forks.
At the Forks here?
Because the Winnipeggers were just desperate to be outside. It's summer. Can't wait.
It's not raining.
It's not raining.
It's
There's
not
no
raining?
snow.
Lots in
Yeah.
Canada, there's only 2 seasons, right? There's winter and construction season.
Potholes are over for now. But
You guys have some pools on the streets.
Jay, don't get me.
You've never experienced the potholes, okay? So you can't comment.
But you were trying to spark a debate there. I was ready to get into
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
I liked it. But I like, what you're talking about, Chris, around experience, right?
Yep.
And that's the other great thing about digital menus. And I think having that full control and easy control over your menu and where you show up, because you can have your classics, your standouts, your favorites that bring your regulars in, but you can also play a little more. But, when you have the traditional printed menu, you're tied to it. Right?
Oh, yeah. Printing costs are high. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't change it up as often and experiment.
So you actually brought up an interesting challenge that we've seen in our space too, is that I do think that some of the best restaurants right now, online ordering can be one of your most profitable channels, just like the drive-through is the most profitable channel for, say, QSR, quick service restaurants. So what's interesting is that we have people that were like, we want online ordering, we want people to order at home when they can't come into the restaurant, when the restaurant's closed. But then what do we do when it reopens and all of a sudden we're like, we're not that busy, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's bumping. And they're like, well, what happens if I get a bunch of online orders coming in? I want to still serve my guests in the restaurant. And so what we've been doing is working on strategies of things like, well, we have dynamic menu switching. So you can just, you can either pause your ordering, you can throttle it to say, on Wednesdays I'll take 4 orders every half an hour, but on Fridays I'm only going to take 1 order because I want to keep it open. They also do things like call it the greatest hits menu, where they have a menu that's their most profitable items that are some of their most liked and easiest to make. So they'll put in a limited menu during their busiest dine-in hours.
Okay, I got to tell you something, Chris, on
ordering.
this.
Yeah.
Love that.
So I invented this a long time ago. So
Did
don't
you?
worry. Yes, I did. So you didn't know that, did you?
What?
We called them ABC menus.
ABC menus? Yeah.
Have you ever heard of ABC menus?
No.
So ABC
Talk to your
menus.
marketing guy.
No, and I think it was. I won't say the chain, just about did. Chain I worked with, we called them ABC menus. Now I can remember the C was for concerts. So you had a concert menu.
Mm-hmm.
So because we were close to concerts, right? So you had a concert. Your menu was like 5 items. So ABC B was buses. So if you ever had a bus pull up, your menu was a little bit smaller than your regular A menu. So you went to an A. I forget what the A was for, but it was ABC. So we had a B. Okay, pull out the B menu. So then you'll put the B menus on the tables. Because those days there was no computers. No, it's true. We just didn't have a digital world. And then C was concerts, right?
Yeah.
So there was the same idea, right?
Yeah.
For those
But-
big rushes.
Well, because what happens, and it's notorious, you'll have a bus pull up, and you'll have everyone order the same thing, and then someone orders like a steak and a lobster dish. It takes 15 minutes. So either it screws up everyone else's dishes because you're waiting for the 15-minute one, or everyone comes out and he has to wait watching everyone else eat, and he's got the most expensive dish. He's usually pick up the bill, pisses him off. He's watching everyone else eat, and you bring out the dish and he eats by himself. Total nightmare. So used to shrink the menus. Did you know that? Yes?
No, it's smart though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? I was smart back then. Right? Same idea, right? But do you think
yeah,
more
for sure.
restaurants should be playing, or lead into that, should be playing into the digital menu more in a sense of changing it daily to play the game when it comes to inflation, labor, different situations?
I mean, absolutely. Look what you do online, right? Like
Yep.
online, they can serve up dynamic menus, they can do pop-up banners, they can really drive you towards either what they want to sell you, or they have their weekly specials instead of it being, hey, where's your specials thing? It can be one of the first things that pops up. So I think, a lot of trends that go from offline to online try to emulate each other. Like I look at e-commerce, that was like, there's a reason why you have a shopping cart on your browser, even though so just want to emulate physical retail, and then now offline retail is trying to emulate online. I think the same thing's going to happen in the restaurant space. Like all these digital menus, digital ordering, these online experiences that people have basically been going through for the last couple of years, they're going to need to start to emulate a lot of that because I don't think it's going to be acceptable now to place an order with your waiter and then be waiting 20 minutes and be like, man, where is my food? If you order online, it's not only do you do that, and 20 minutes later you can look it up and you can see, oh, look, my food's being prepared. And also, there's a guy named Jeff who grew up in Ottawa who, has 3 kids. He's actually driving a Yaris. He's actually picked my order up, and, he's driving this way, and, like, everything about it. So that's like that consistency and, like, so, the timing, consistency, and just, like, transparency are going to be huge because we've been trained for that. So that's where, I think we don't really know, going back to that debate of, like, will people be happy to go back out and dine? I'm like, initially 100%, everybody's just going to want to go back out. But they might realize that once they go through that experience, it's like, oh, this seems different than it was, when I was here a couple of years ago, or I'm not sure what it is. Maybe the experience is the same, but they've now been trained with all these new ordering tools and all these new experiences that they might have changed without even realizing it. So I'm actually really interested to see what happens. I want to talk to my, get our customers in the fall and kind of see, what was the summer like? What were the things that surprised you? But I think a lot of restaurants are going to see that they want to, how do we emulate a lot of these online, ordering methods and things that have worked really well for that, and find a balance in the restaurant where they can kind of merge those two worlds.
Well, we were talking earlier about that personal touch, and when you're out in person, how important that is. So when you can develop that consistency across all your online tools, use those in-house as well, and then over deliver on the personal experience, that's what's going to bring people in live, butts in the seats.
I agree, fully agree.
Yeah.
I have $1 million question for you, Chris, while you eat that piece of cake live on camera.
Have we talked about the cakes yet? Because,
do you want
I feel like I want to come back and just so I was also at the RC show, and Jay was just sitting there, and every time I'm walking past, he's like, come here. And he has like stacks of boxes and pies and foods and drinks, and I'm like, man, I should just stick around here. We're sitting here. We have this person comes up with their like wow factor
desserts. Yeah, they're phenomenal.
And then Jay's like,
if you're not going to open that on screen, then you haven't seen an unboxing moment.
Well, I think I missed that generation of like.
We'll turn Chris into an influencer. Yeah,
you have to show the box. Bring it out. Show the packaging.
I'm also somebody that plays video games instead of watches people playing video games. Okay, so we're unboxing.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I doing it right? What do I do with my hands?
You got.
There we go.
Show it. Come out. There you go.
There you go, Chris.
And then packaging's important, so show the packaging.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you got to get it close. You got to get close to the mic too, so you can hear the
beautiful
little
shape.
MSR.
Exactly.
We need it close to the sound.
If you put your hand behind it, it ends the glare.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay,
there you go.
All right.
There you go.
There you go.
Beautiful turtle cake from Wow Factor, gluten-free. We love working with Wow.
This is fantastic.
We need the fork. Get the fork.
Gluten-free?
Is it gluten-free?
That's a gluten-free cake.
I need to reconsider my stance on gluten.
Now you gotta
When
do
you
the.
taste it, you will. Yeah.
Kevin, can we get 4 forks?
That's awesome.
No. What are you doing? That's not it.
He's taking it home for later, Jay.
Shh, it'd be cool, man.
Jeez, we gotta work on that. There you go. So I got a question
Next time I'm unboxing cake on live video, I'll remember all these tips.
Okay, thank you. You gotta taste that. It's so good.
I'm eating it over there.
So what?
I wasn't waiting
did
for
you
the
try one,
fork.
Em?
Oh, I have it.
Okay. Are you? Go for it. Go for it. Try it. Come on. You sure? You guys are so
It's okay.
scared.
So this actually reminds me, one of my favorite, they used to have these like funny tweets. I think it was a Jimmy Fallon show. And one of my favorite ones that came on was like, what are the things that you do in an office that it's like a tip that you want to share for office workers, right? And one lady came on and she said, I always keep a fork in my purse. Why?
Wow.
Because cake happens. I was like, man, if I had right here, cake happened right in front of me in the middle of the workday.
Is there a fork in there, Chris? Is there a fork in there?
No, but it's,
Is it shooter?
Yeah.
Cake shooters?
Chris, I do have a question about your app.
Yeah.
So when customers are using your app, do they get the data? When operators are using it, do they get the data of the customers that are ordering, and they know when it's a return customer to enhance that? Thanks for coming back, or is that available?
Yeah. So we do a couple things like that.
Okay.
We definitely. If you have you can have an account with us, and you can have the app, so we can actually see your orders over time, and the restaurants have access to a portal like that. We don't do a direct communication because we wouldn't want that necessarily to happen, depending on how the experience went. But we can see their order, they can see if they've reordered. It's a big part of it. Although we're definitely looking to expand on that as we move forward, because I think that's going to be a really big part. Is to the point, right? You used to be in a restaurant with like, oh, that's Joe. He loves pasta. He's here every second Tuesday with his wife, or he comes in after baseball. That kind of stuff, right? But since people are dining from everywhere now, you might have seen Joe in the restaurant, but not realize it's also ordered, he orders every Sunday evening now, right? So it's you need to start compiling that data together.
Yeah.
So we do offer that tracking.
Okay. Super unique, right? Because then it adds that personal touch to like a digital connection.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see kind of one of the visions was like, we do this, we have these beacons that sit on a table that they have, a QR code, they have a table number, they can be custom branded as well, and they have an NFC chip, so tapping or scanning. I would love to see something like this at the door where you check in almost. So you're arriving, you checked in, and if you have a profile, your servers will see, oh, Joe's back, right? Cool, yeah, it looks like he dined on Sunday. Maybe I'll ask him how the delivery was, or how well did the food carry, right? I'd love to see that, and I think we have the data right now to do that. We're very much focusing on the actual experience. But once we've nailed that down, which I think we're getting pretty close. After the summer, we'll see once we see what the new trends are. We'd love to expand on that data side. And I would say the one caveat is that there's so much good data on the point of sale system, your ordering systems, that for us to say like replicate that data would not be as useful. So we try to limit that, and we try to only provide those kind of initial like actionable insights or those unique insights that would sit on top of the POS data. So otherwise you get this like paralysis through analysis thing that a lot of restaurants get of like, I have all this great data, I have like video data, I have ordering data, I have this data, but unless it has like a direct like KPI or every day I look at this number, it helps me do something. We try to limit that. But on top of that, we also have like a 5-star feedback at the end. So you can say, how was your experience? 1 to 5 stars, some preset tags, and then feedback. And that's available for the restaurant that's not posted online. So what's nice about that is the owners can go on, they can actually see feedback. If they see a negative experience, then we can contact the customer for them, and try to nip that in the bud before it becomes something bad online. And if it's a good experience, they may want to celebrate it. So there's opportunities there as well, and it's nice that it's not instantly public, so that they're going on. And actually, we talked about this earlier. That would be a great way for us to build stories. Would be to take a comment like that, and then reach out to them and say, hey, we'd love to craft a story around this, and then they can start filling out their book.
We talked earlier today too about staff retention, and
Yes.
if you can use that to celebrate your employees as well, that's a great way to get feedback.
It's funny because we had champions that were like pushing the ordering service, and like they were the ones that we were actually celebrating, and then they were getting everybody else to like get on board, because every restaurant has their champions, and if you don't convince them, I mean, you're not, it's not going to go super well. But I think what's great is that you can actually see which staff members serve them too. I mean, you can see that through the point of sale system, but when you link that to the feedback, that's where your manager can go in and say, hey, actually, they've been getting a lot of great feedback. We also helped a customer who we had they had a lower rating for a week, and we're like, what's going on? And we found out that it was the same server getting a 1-star rating time and time again. So it's a very easy problem to fix. But had we not been there, had we not linked the feedback to the server, it could have been going on for months. We don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a helpful tool to have.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I want to shift gears just a little bit here. First of all, this is very comfortable and relaxing to chat like this. Chris, I have a question for you, because you're, like I said, you're the Yoda of the industry. Is
Happy to be in your presence.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah. Chris hates us. I'll get in trouble later. Okay, I want to talk to you about food inflation.
Yep.
Because this month, for the last few weeks on our SVK channel, we've been just pumping out solutions on food inflation. Does tech play a game in reducing food inflation in our restaurants? Can it?
Well, yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, across the board, I think. Like you talk about food inflation, and unfortunately, maybe you're not pulling. I mean, food is not just inflating because food is costing more, because gas is up and production is down and supply is low. Like that's part of the reason. But I mean, your highest cost in your restaurant is usually labor. And I know even that's a challenge right now, and hiring and firing is really challenging, and training is challenging. So not only do you have all these restaurants that are having to hire new people, they're going to have to go through the motions of training, which slows them down, which costs money. And then we talked about some operating fees like online ordering. If you're constantly paying that customer guest acquisition cost by paying these high first-time fees, it all kind of combines. So food inflation is definitely one of the biggest challenges right now. And you can combat it in more ways than one. You can keep that food cost down if you can lower your costs across the board. So what we say too is like you can serve more tables. You don't actually need to remove servers from, say, mobile ordering. They can actually just serve more tables. They spend more time on hospitality. They do more upselling. They get the bills up. And if you can lower other costs like that we talked about, then that can bring the food costs down.
Yeah, and I'm always thinking of employee satisfaction too. You help your employees be more effective, give better service, their tips go up as well. Employee culture, it's all connected.
Oh, good servers have gotten me
Yeah,
to
that's a
order
good
another
point.
round of drink. Like the classic, like the amount of times I'll get an Irish coffee or something after when they say, "Oh, do you want some coffee or do you want something?" I'm not a big dessert guy in general, but if they can sell me that, that fancy liqueured coffee, then they've done a good job. It's not like a
So
common thing.
on that, do you believe that training today has to go tech for servers?
I'm depends on what aspect you're talking about, but I
True.
think that a lot of restaurants can do a better job. Like they can do a better job, or they can focus on let's make sure that our training is online. That we don't have to actually come into the restaurant early to do training, but you can actually do it remotely, or that you have everything that's actually mapped out consistently versus just like some stuff that was written down on sticky notes, or what the owner had written down. It's here's 3 or 4 things you need to remember. I also think that most servers will work at, say, few restaurants, and they're probably going to do what they're going to do at each one of those restaurants, and they're probably the better servers. When you actually pair it with something like what we do, what I like to tell people is like, once someone actually taps or scans that QR code, it's our job to get them through that ordering experience, from ordering to customizing their order, adding their sides, their special notes, even the upselling as far as adding drinks or dessert or coffee on top of that, all the way through the payment. So the good news for that, what I try to tell restaurants, is you can have a brand new employee that just knows how to, they're nice. You can train them on the point of sale system. Be nice and hospitable, and just say, here, scan or tap that. That'll take you to the system. I'm here if you have any questions, or here's the specials. And then everything's going to pop up in the point of sale the same way that every other order would do if they punched it in. Or when we say process a payment, we'll close that checkout. So, we'll talk about training. Why worry about training them on exactly how to get them through the full order, and here's how you use all the payment systems, and here's how you use everything. New employees, you should almost push them to say, if they want to use mobile ordering, put your new employees on that table. Or they want to we do also like digital menus and just payments, so that the servers still take orders. Even then, you're basically reducing some of that training requirement. And once we train this, it stays consistent. I wouldn't say it doesn't fall in sick ever, because there are the odd bug. They get bugs too, but it's exactly the experience that the owner intended once it's set up and it's consistent, and then their staff just needs to direct people towards it to kind of lean on it. So that whole training and everything, like, I think they can definitely lean on tech to make it a lot easier to get new employees in.
Awesome. What do you think, Yaz?
I think that's great. Yeah, I think digital training is helpful as well, because it's a consistent training experience for all employees, and it's also a reference point. So, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're an experienced service, when I first got a service job at one of the high-end restaurants, let's just say that I was just, I may still be, but I used to be this, young cocky guy that was like, oh, I can totally do this. This is going to be great. Let's just say when I stepped on the toes of the most senior service person who just, like, I was getting in her way, or I was punching something in wrong, or I was doing it wrong, like, they definitely let me know. But then, they each had their serverisms that I had to follow. With like, this person said, you have to do it this way. Those said, you have to do it this way. And I was like, I wish I knew which way I was supposed to do it. I'm going to do it this way when I'm working with you, when I'm working with you, and then I'm going to stay safe.
We do that. We do that at our office today. Is when I hang with Emily, I hang a certain way with Yaz, a different way. Right, Yaz? You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Did you know that? Anyways, one more question I have for you. Restaurant marketing. Because obviously, Emily and Yasmin and myself are in marketing. Which way would you recommend restaurants go with marketing for the future? Not now, but moving up in the next 6 months. What's it look like from your perspective, Chris?
Well, look, I mean, I think there's a lot of great tools out there, and I think we might have been, I don't know if I was talking with you guys earlier about this, but, marketing and what makes your restaurant great, or what made it great 10 or 20 years ago before all these digital tools, is what can make it great today. We just need to change. The restaurants just need to recognize the different mediums that are out there. Like, I know you guys are talking to TikTok, where we're on YouTube Live, we're on Facebook right now. I mean, those are just different channels. Unfortunately, it used to be put your restaurant on Main Street, and then you would have signs outside and people standing outside, and you could attract people that way. So that hasn't changed. A good restaurant can still do that, but Main Street now exists on social media. It exists on ads. It exists on your website through these third party channels. And I mean, you talk about menus, and actually one of the biggest challenges is managing your menus through. I mean, with us, one menu for all of your ordering, which we love. But even some of the largest brands are having challenges when they want to update a menu. Then they got to send it to Skip, Uber, DoorDash, change their website, change their local menu and their POS. And some of their great tools are coming up to do that now. But the multi-menu management systems that are coming up are great, but that's still one of the big challenges. So that's a part of the marketing that they're doing. So they're figuring out the menu management piece, and then restaurants need to look to those channels and say, okay, where are my guests talking? And That's why we're on Facebook Live right now, because a lot of people love going on that, looking at that on-demand content. A couple chefs in the family, they just love, they love just scrolling like at night on a tablet. They're not waiting for a scheduled time. They're just looking at this on-demand content. And I think a lot of people are doing that too. Instagram, right? I mean, everybody loves posting their meals on Instagram. That's free marketing for a lot of restaurants. They know how to, gather all those posts together. And, you talk about telling stories. Well, you can do that right now on
A visual story.
Yeah, you have certain hashtags on Instagram, and all of a sudden, everybody that went to your restaurant that used that, you have that story right there.
Do you think there's? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Em.
I was just going to say, there's nothing more powerful than a grassroots recommendation. Like word
Yeah.
of mouth, right?
Word of mouth, yeah.
happens online as much as it does in person now. And, that's the best marketing you can get.
Well, I think more people are looking at the reviews of what people are saying about the restaurant than anything else that you're producing out of the restaurant for content marketing.
Yeah.
So people are saying what they're doing, all these stuff. So you always say, Chris, I don't bring you food.
There we go. More food.
Pass it over.
There you go. So I had to do this because this is Cisco. Here's a Cisco plug, Gem. She'll be happy.
Happy eating.
So brought to you by Cisco's Smoke Montreal.
How do you
Butcher's
unbox
Block.
this? Do you just like lift the lid up and say, look under
No.
the
Wow, this looks
cover?
amazing.
You have to taste it.
Oh my gosh.
So what are the products on here?
So this is Cisco. It's all Cisco products,
Okay.
and it's a smoked meat sandwich. And on the show, you have to eat it. I'm sorry.
You got to take the full
Let's
bite.
do it.
Take the bite. Let's do it.
The grainy mustard is my favorite part.
There we go. Yeah, let's do it.
Pickles.
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
All right.
Do it. Come on. Come on, Yas. It's healthy.
Jay, who have you got on screen? I think it's
Really
Chris
good.
and me. You're supposed to be on screen too.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening?
Going in.
4 cameras pointing your way.
Jay,
Oh, that's
it's going to
great.
be a disaster.
Yeah. Sorry for the next people
That's
doing their interview and
phenomenal.
getting a little mustard on the mic. And
Oh,
yeah.
that is so good. Yum. The pickles and the mustard and wow.
All right, may I just say, for someone who has not done this before and who did not want to do this, yes, I mean, you're doing a great job.
I know.
really good at
Yes.
eating.
Yes, you're natural.
I think
Excel
too.
in the eating department.
Well, because we were talking, and
I
you
know.
should come on, you should come on, you should come on, and then she's like, I don't know, and then cake happened, and she just sat down, and she's like, maybe I will stick around, right? And now there's like sandwiches, like
Guys,
I don't
have a
even.
fork.
I think you have a new co-host over
I
here.
know.
Yeah. So
Yes.
just try to get rid of me.
I'll be the food taster.
You
I'll
taste
be
it?
the
you go.
content expert.
Pretty good,
There
eh?
we
Yeah,
go.
content and color
Found that.
commentary. And you guys need a camera. You guys got some good stuff going on. You got coordinated fist bumps.
I know. I need a napkin. Chad.
Oh no, no.
I'm sure there's several companies here. Actually, I'm at a custom branding napkin. You should actually taste their new Onyx collection. Or sorry, you should feel their new Onyx
Actually,
collection.
honestly, feel these napkins. They're so thick.
There you
Are
go.
they
I washed the
nice?
car with these.
Yeah.
I hope you're not tasting.
I'm pretty
what
sure my
happened.
dad did watch this car with these. Yeah.
We're not at that point.
What's funny, if you talk about napkins too, I always, make this bad party joke of just like everybody buys napkins, but then everybody uses like, paper towel, right? Like Bounty. I'm like, everybody loves Bounty paper towels. I'm like, I could be the guy that turns those paper towels into napkins and everybody would go crazy for them.
Hey, not when you own napkins like that.
No,
Those
no,
are
this is
really
the
nice
premium.
napkins.
Yeah, I feel like I want to put this on my lap.
Yeah.
Someone should be putting
Those
it
are
on
the
my
type
lap
that
for
you
me.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, where's the
high-end.
host to come down? Yeah. That's awesome.
Jay's sticking in.
I know.
That's how
There-
good
there's
that sandwich
Peter.
is.
Oh man.
He made the sandwich.
Amazing.
So the chef always does.
So
The chef. You know, a good chef. They always strut after. This is the
We're getting
chef.
the
This
full
is the chef
experience.
strut.
We have the chef coming to.
This is the chef strut.
Yeah, it's like he's not asking you how it is.
No, he
he
does, he's
knows
just
how good it
eating.
is. Like, I'm just going to strut past here. I know, you can't talk to me because your mouth's full because it's delicious. So I'm just going to strut.
And smile. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I know.
It's the best compliment you can give him. Like, someone cooks a meal at your house or they're cooking, and all of a sudden it's just like, you're wondering how it is.
They give
because
you
no
that
one's
look?
talking, right?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
There's the best compliment. How do you put that online, right?
Well, speaking of that, we were talking about the live experience too.
Yeah.
It's like when you go out to eat, you get that sandwich, that like hot, thick roast beef sandwich we're having right now, corned beef, everything's falling apart. The burger that's like all over your plate. You can't replicate that. Like that's not something you
Not
make
in
at
the
home.
box.
Like,
Exactly.
That's,
No.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think.
The messy meal. That should be the next experience.
Well, I gotta ask this too, Chris, and I know this kind of falls in your ballpark, but ghost kitchens. Now they were huge through the pandemic. We saw they were everywhere, popping up everywhere. Now there's been almost a calm down from them. Now that people are going back out, we're gonna see it bounce back a little bit, or are they still gonna be strong? What do you think?
Well, that's kind of what well, if it was me owning a restaurant tomorrow. So even if you were using ghost kitchens because you didn't want to pay all that overhead for having multiple locations, you could easily test out a new demographic, right? Say I'm going to go to a new city, but I'm going to open a ghost kitchen instead. And if people start ordering this off of the platforms like Uber, Skip, and DoorDash, yeah, the fees will be higher, but you're saving a lot of money on the physical storefront. If it goes well, great. You can actually put a physical location in there. I was also thinking you could also even just expand your delivery or your reach in the city that you're popular in or the place. So you could have one or two central locations that are your flagships, and then you could have ghost kitchens that support the outskirts or the areas that your restaurants are not in. And then guess what? Whichever one gets the most orders, maybe that's where you build your next restaurant. So I think there's a great complementary system with that. And going back to that online ordering being most profitable, I still think once maybe you onboard them through that third-party channel, maybe you onboard them because they came into your restaurant, and then when they want to order next time, maybe they're getting served by a ghost kitchen, but you're not sure. It depends on where they're at.
Well, I think also ghost kitchens. I know of a chain. I'm not going to say who it is, but I interviewed the president of the chain. I think the first year of the COVID situation. He mentioned that. I'm having meat sweats. Thanks, Peter. No, he said that they take because they're huge in the States, right? A little bit across Canada. And they would go into a market, open up this, and they would put it under a different brand name than their original. Try that restaurant, run similar items that they have in their brand name stores, and see if it'd work in these cities, and then make a decision to invest in real estate or whatever. Right? It's like a pilot, like a test pilot.
It's real life market research.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. It's actually a good idea, to be honest.
That's a great idea. And I mean, yeah, like you can emulate what all these large companies are doing, and you're going to be doing all right. And I think that it's easier than it used to be because there's a lot of tools there. Every restaurant can afford some of the same tools, or at least the level of the same tool that all these large restaurants that used to be able to afford. So everybody has access to all these channels now.
Yeah.
There's like a lot lower barrier to entry, so you can run a ghost kitchen and still be on some of these popular channels. You don't actually have to have a main street restaurant to figure it out, right? Everybody can come in. I love the concept of just testing out markets with ghost kitchens, like low overhead, low cost. I mean, there's a business out there where somebody could run, say, several different menus off of one ghost kitchen in a new demographic, and you hire that company. Maybe cut this part. We might need to actually put this on paper.
We're live.
Yeah. All right. No, but I mean, I think that there's lots of different strategies that you can use like that that are really going to help these small restaurants compete. Where large companies can say, let's just throw a new restaurant in several cities. Well, they can now do that. Now a single restaurant can do that with ghost kitchen.
I don't see a lot of new ones though in my market that are popping up. It's just the regular same
because
ones.
they're ghosts. You can't see them.
Yeah.
Out in Alberta.
Don't choke on
Everywhere,
that
Jay.
sandwich. Don't choke on that sandwich. Anyways, you guys want to wrap up?
Yes,
Do you want to wrap up? This has been awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Want to wrap up?
Great.
thank
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Do you want to do another pitch of App 8?
Yeah. So, I mean, for everything we just talked about, I mean, it sits on the core of what we do with App 8. So, I mean, I honestly think that we do work with a lot of great tools, loyalty companies, point-of-sale companies to really help people consolidate their tech stack, simplify their process in general. Because I think a lot of people also bought a lot of tools they may or may not need, or they may find that they don't need. And so I mean, if you're interested in omni-channel ordering, that consistent experience, whether it's managing digital menus, offering takeout or online ordering or delivery, especially in non-traditional spaces, like we've been doing a lot of cool things with like golf courses, like doing like ordering on different holes. Order on the 18th tee so you can pick something up in the clubhouse. To working with different hotel chains, to a lot of family entertainment centers with bowling and arcades and all that. So that's something that maybe you haven't thought about, digitizing some of your food service. So if it's not your main draw, well, we can make it even simpler for you to manage something that, like I said, it's just maybe a nice to have or something that you do because people are going to, they want some snacks or they want some drinks while they're enjoying, your establishment. So
Can I just jump in on an idea? Yeah, so I don't think I've told you this idea before. You'll like it. I think I've told Chris this one before. Maybe it was on one of the shows. But I got to say this because golf courses are coming. We're busy right now on golf course. I'm going to say this around golf courses. It's totally off subject. My ADHD's kicked in. golf courses for winter can make a ton of money. Okay, so what do they have right now that no other restaurant has?
Right now,
Yeah, well, no, they all the time.
A fleet of close-range delivery vehicles.
members,
Okay.
memberships, like please.
No, Chris is on it. See how he
Oh,
picked
yeah.
up on that?
Wow, I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
That was it.
They've got access to
I didn't hear you.
vehicles,
Okay.
They're like land drones.
Yeah. but they also have this amazing landscape of space.
Okay.
So what if you put domes in the wintertime all across your golf course? And then your golf course would take your dinner guest out to these domes and your fields and have this winter wonderland dinner experience in this beautiful landscape.
There you go for all of our golf viewers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Free.
And then in the
You're
winter, so you do that through
first.
the winter. So that's one on golf courses. Golf courses should be ghost kitchens in the wintertime. Right? That's a no-brainer because they're always in the big populated areas. They already have clientele. They usually have amazing food already. Right? So then it's like you're done. And then you can do your dining at night, golf on the course kind of thing through the wintertime. Summertime, you could do night dining areas on your golf course at night because you can't golf at night.
So,
Yeah.
so even jumping on that point, like
See?
there's actually going to be like, so there's, we talk about remote workers, right? There's fewer, like people are like reducing their office space. They're reducing the big offices. Golf courses, especially in the winter, generally have a banquet or dining area.
Yep.
So you talk about, serving even companies or serving corporate. So you would actually have your weekly lunch there, or you have a company dinner, or just something to get everybody in the same room. So golf courses have the ability to host that. So there you go. I mean, golf courses right now are really they need more streams of revenue because especially where I come from, it's actually like the highest golf course concentration per capita, like in Ontario, like the Great Lakes area. So there's just like you can't drive 20 kilometers without running into a couple courses. But
Like Manitoba's the same way. It's,
Yeah,
yeah.
And you have a short season, you got to maximize your revenue, right?
Exactly.
that's it. Now there's a ton of tools out there. You just named a couple.
I know.
There you go.
Just full of them, right?
Add
All of them.
and you're all set to go.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
We're actually doing a pilot right now with a golf course in Ottawa where they're using those delivery drones where they're actually delivering
Oh, wow.
to the
Yeah.
holes. So they're using us as the ordering platform for that.
Really?
So cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to send us a video of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'd
send
love
you
to
the,
see
send you
that.
that video, and then I'm gonna send you the first video of people trying to hit them with golf balls because that's gonna be the number one thing that happens because when the it's
a few
you're on-
drinks.
New target.
Oh yeah, not even. You're on the driving range, right? Like I'm there, and I'm like, okay, this is a serious practice time. I'm like doing all my grip and everything, and then the car comes out. I'm like, hey, new game.
Well, they can double down, keep the geese away. Yeah. Food, right?
Yeah, there you go. My uncle is actually volunteering at a course just so we can get a free membership right now, and he actually he's in Gatineau near Ottawa, so he'll put on Toronto Maple Leaf logos on it, so they get mad or targets,
Serious?
Oh yeah, I mean you're not going to get hurt
No.
if you get hit with that thing, but it's fun. So he has fun with it. Pretty much he wants people to go after him. So I think anyebody sees a drone going by, they'll probably time their drives as they see that thing coming in. And look, if I think you take it down, that beer's yours, right? I mean, you've claimed it by conquest. So
Do you think, just last thing on golf courses, I think you said it earlier, but I think golf courses should have a meal option per hole.
Yeah.
Not just the 18th hole or the 9th. There should be, a hole 6 has got wings. Burger on 3.
Par 5, it's a 3-course meal, but the par 3, that's an appetizer.
Exactly.
You could just buy the meal before you head out, and they just feed you.
See, that's cool.
So they're removing beverage carts. I mean, that's been a trend that I've been hearing. It's they're not as profitable, or you see a beverage cart and you may or may not see them for another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think I always love that experience, and it's also something that thinks oh yeah, it is time for a Caesar, or it is time for something else, right? So you could either instead of removing them, I like the idea of setting up every 3 holes. So you're on the 3rd hole, you order on the 3rd hole, you pick it up on the 4th. So they're going to know to bring it to the 4th hole because especially, and you can even strategically choose a par 4 or par 5 depending on what they're ordering. So you could say, I'm going to be on. You're going to know where they're at. The beverage cart never actually knows where where the people are. They kind of have an idea of where a good group is that has been ordering on the
Yeah,
drinks,
they just
right?
keep going around
They'll
and
go
around.
right? But which is great for them. But what happens to the other people? But also that's
I
hard
was
to
going
do.
to say, do not slow down rate of play.
That would don't sound so.
No.
That's why we're every 3 holes you're gonna pick it up on the next hole on the tee box, not the green where everybody stops to order.
You got to eat the wings. I don't know. I'm down
Yeah.
for this idea, but we got to flush this one out.
Yeah, I
All
like
right.
this.
I just love the
Food
ninth tee
crawl.
as well.
The food
Everybody's
crawl?
made the run. Yeah. everybody's made their run to the clubhouse between the 9th and the 10th hole, being like, "Oh, I want to grab a snack. I need to go to the bathroom. I grab something from my car." Well, we can take care of the ordering portion of that. So you're just going to go to the counter and grab your food. You're going to order it on the 9th, pick it up, and then do whatever else you need to do, and you're off to the races. Or, oh, do I have time to have a drink before I go home and see the kids and all that kind of stuff? Or, oh, it's going to be close, depending how busy they are. Well, I'm on the 18th hole. I've already ordered the wings and the beer.
Yeah.
It's going to pretty much be ready when I get down there, so I can quickly roll in, have my, So you talk about increasing revenue, talking about increasing spend. Like, it's those little things that you can motivate.
There you go. There you go, Yaz.
Learned a lot today.
There
Heard it
you
here
go.
first.
I know. You've heard it here first. There you go. Em's first time on the show. Yasmin's first time on the show. Right?
Where am I running into you next month?
I know.
Where's
Saskatoon.
The
You go to
Saskatoon.
Next week we're in Saskatoon live.
Right. Well, maybe I'll just stick with you as
want-
your roadie slash guest. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, look, Chef Jagger. I don't know if Chef Jagger, he didn't say anything yet, but he's watching right now. Anyways, well, thanks again, Chris. Emily, Yaz, thank you for your first time. Yaz, you're a natural, by the way. You're natural.
So?
Yeah. You're getting used to it.
I think she's thinking, like, what's the next food?
Exactly. Do you want a steak? We got steak over there. Anyways, we'll be back, folks, later tonight or today. Is it tonight yet? And later today for more from our SVK network. But tune in, and we'll be back right after these few messages. And chill. We'll be back again. There you go. All right. Cheers.
Thank
available to us right here.
That's awesome. First of all, that's wicked. So I guess so. There you go. Now try it. Try it now.
Welcome back to Cisco's Virtual Kitchen. We are at the MRFA MHA One Show 2022. Feels pretty good to be back together. Don't you all agree?
Absolutely.
So pretty excited. Well, first of all, to have Jay Ashton here with the Cisco's Virtual Kitchen. You can't really see the elaborate setup here, but it feels pretty legit with all the doodads and stuff that we've got. And we couldn't be more happy to have Scott Jocelyn and Sean Jeffrey in. Maybe I should have said it separately. Scott Jocelyn, Manitoba Hotel Association, but I don't want to screw it up. It's President and CEO. Okay, just because you're, and then Sean Jeffrey is Executive Director.
Head busboy.
Head busboy. Winnipeg's most expensive busboy, actually, to be clear. So it's really exciting to have the group here, and I got to say, thanks for having us, but thanks for what you guys do for our industry. Go ahead, Scott.
No, you're welcome. I finished up my phone.
It's okay. That's
we'll
what
just
makes
zoom
this
in
great.
on that.
No, it's been like this all day for you. This is your job, right?
Yeah, it's great to get the support from so many suppliers, and usually Cisco leads the way in that, so not surprising that Cisco did again. And it's great to work with our partners at the Restaurant Association. Sean's a great partner. Sean and I guess, would be the face of the organization, but the reality is today, members of our team, members of his team did a great job selling booths and getting people out. The turnout is overwhelming, and it's fantastic to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Cisco's such a great partner and has been for such a long time. And again, it's we have to look at the MHA and the MRFA's staff and how they really put this together and get so many amazing people together in one place to kind of talk hospitality again, right? 2 years of pandemic has kind of played heavily on us, and it's nice to get back to normal.
Well, and I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, if I can, like the partnership, right? Years ago, this was, can I say Centrex? Like way years back? Anybody that knows about it, right?
You really dating yourself. I might be the only one old enough in the room to remember.
Okay.
Centrex,
well, and so and I don't know if anybody. I remember sometimes people like, and then kind of for a while the two kind of did their own thing, right? There was separate shows, and
Correct.
I think I don't want to say on behalf of us. Hopefully, the rest of the industry we really love that this is all together and that you're working this together. I think it's great, and it's a great synergy, right? There's lots of crossover, and I don't know about you, but it just feels like every year it gets a little bit better.
I think the the market is suited for one show, and I think that I worked at the Restaurant Association prior to coming here, and we ran a competing show to the MHAs, and it made sense when I moved over to the MHA to try and get everyone around the table, not taking all the credit for it, because obviously we had good partners in the restaurants, but people said to me, you really got to be the guy figuring it out, and it made a lot of sense, for the suppliers, for our people. And we were able to put on something bigger and better, and we can't do it without the partnership that we get from the Restaurant Association. So we're happy to do it.
Yeah, I can actually remember being an exhibitor in the Centrex show, and it's always kind of competitive, right? And you want to support both associations. We work so collaborative, and one thing that I've learned during the pandemic is that collaborative is a word that I'm going to use from now and forever, because without partners like Scott and the MHA and our other partners out there in the industry supporting business, we wouldn't have made it through, right? And so again, it's just a collaborative effort, us battering our heads together and probably putting the best show, I feel the best show in Western Canada together, and making sure that everybody's coming to this is getting as much as they can.
I think there's people that it makes more sense they were in the restaurant show, and more people that it would make sense are in a hotel show. So to put it together, again, it's just natural that we can put on something that really hits it for everybody, right? So
Well, and I don't know if you feel this way, and Jay, maybe you. I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but like from the big cities, our region, Manitoba, we got Saskatchewan. We deal a little bit for us, a little bit in northwestern Ontario. I saw lots of those customers here today. Just it feels like we all. I just love that you use the word collaborate. I feel like there's don't get me wrong, there are definitely competitors in this room and but I think people understand, like for me at least, and us coming into the show, number one, first, it's our industry. Our industry was hurt, if one could say ignored. And again, I don't want to get into any issues. And I think we needed to get back together, right? And I think we also have to understand that we have to work together based on kind of everything else that's going on in the industry right now. So I just think it's pretty cool. It feels pretty cool. I don't know about what your thoughts are on that, but
Well, Sean's an easy guy to collaborate with, so a lot of good ideas. So a great partner, and for us, we have to work against the trend of people staying inside.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of lead the league in getting people out. So many of our hotels, our restaurants would rely on people getting out, not doing things virtually. Kill the idea of virtual. And getting people out in a room together. So again, to do this today, to see people back out together, it's a core part of some of our people's business, so it's essential that we do it.
And so to that note, just those people listening, we are all for face-to-face. I like that word hybrid. I don't know how you feel about it, but I was talking to somebody about that earlier. What I like about the piece I like about virtual is nowadays with somebody gets not feeling well or whatever, wants to play it safe, hey, we can still have this meeting, right? We can still, let's keep the communication going. But to your point, we got to get, I don't know about you, I'm just getting personal here a little bit. We got to be intentional. We have to be very intentional about getting back to getting out, right? And I think, I was going to ask the question next, sort of, if you had a message or two that you wanted to get out to people today, what would be some of the things that you would say, to the people listening, to the industry, or people who are customers of the industry? Because it's interesting, right? I think in our industry, we get it. We're like, we need to support people. We need to eat out more. But there's still a lot of people and preferences, like people have, everybody's ready in their own time. But we need to get them, we want them back, right?
I think the message is that, and I've been saying this for a while, is that it's never been a safer time to dine in a restaurant or go to a hotel, ever. Yeah. It's never been safer. The things that we learned during COVID, that trying time, that troubling time, those things are still in place. You're going to see restaurants, you're still seeing barriers, you're still seeing masks, you're still seeing social distancing.
Yeah.
We've all kind of changed the way that we operate on a day-to-day basis, but we also seem to see you. I got 700 people in this room right now, 700 people on team hospitality right here who are saying it's time. It's time to get back out and let's get back to normal, because there's a lot of smiling faces that I needed to see again. The whole Zoom thing was getting a little tiresome.
Well, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I was going to say, just, I think that people have to understand the impact on the industry, whatever side of the health protocols you're on, and I'm not going to debate those.
Yeah.
But the reality is the health orders really restricted what we can do, and can't pay the bills, right? I mean, if we can't operate to the capacities we need to operate at. Makes it very, very difficult. So here we are, flip the switch, no restrictions, we're back to normal. We need the public to embrace that. We need the public to come back, and we're ready to serve them. We need them to come back to our facility.
And if I can just, again, on, I think, a bit of a bridge note here, let's talk about the campaign, like getting also workers, labor back to the industry. Go.
Yeah, huge. In partnership with our provincial government, we're definitely, Scott and I are trying to engage people to get back into hospitality. We lost some key people during the pandemic. We lost a lot, and it was no fault of their own. We were closed down. And but man, I'm telling you, there's never been a time that you can join an industry that is thriving, exploding, and looking for amazing people. And the growth potential is so significant. When I can't even retain my own daughter at my own office, she leaves me to go work in a restaurant. When I can't even do that, that the industry's thriving, right? So, part-time, full-time senior citizens who, need to make a little bit of extra money because of rising costs of living. Let's go. We're waiting for it. We want you. Come on down.
I really like.
I was going to say, one of the challenges that we have representing the wide range of members that we do, and I'm sure it's the same for Sean, is they hit on an issue that impacts everybody. It's hard to find. People will wonder why we're spending so much time on one or another. Unfortunately, labor is an issue that everybody wants us to be spending time on. It's an unfortunate tale that everyone's dealing with. And we've got to find people. We have to turn over every opportunity to make sure people are aware, as Sean said, that they're great opportunities. You can move ahead in the industry. It's not for everybody, let's be honest, but I think there are some things the industry offers that you can't get anywhere else. You go into school, you can get some short shifts, you can get lots of flexibility in your scheduling. If you like to work weekends, if you like to work late nights, we offer all that. We're never closed.
And I love what you said earlier. I don't know if you've coined that yet. I love that join team hospitality. Like everyone in this room, regardless of what side of the trade show booth you're on, we're team hospitality. And I don't know if I don't want to delve into this for a second. Obviously there are some things in every industry that have had to change a little bit. Mentality, like you talked about collaboration and change. Would I feel one thing if I had a chance to say something to other people that are maybe cautious or leery to get back into the industry because of the past, let's say, I think a lot of minds have changed. I think people are more open to change now than they were. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, because I think there were some things that we all needed to change a little bit, right? What thoughts on that? I don't know if that's getting a little too personal or not, but
I think we have to be flexible.
Yes.
But I think we also have to make sure our customers are aware that we're just getting our feedback on ourselves.
Yeah.
We're hoping that people are fair with their expectations with us.
Yeah.
A lot of new people coming in, getting people up and running. So there have been some challenges, but I think we have to adapt every day, right? The people who evaluate us, we're heavily regulated, but the people who evaluate us are our customers. If they're not coming to us, then we've got to change what we're doing, or we're out of business.
And I just want to add, thanks to my peers, actually, some of my teammates. You got Sales and Service Safety Association behind it. Like, folks, I want, if there are customers listening to this, there are resources out there. Ask. Don't assume that you're on your own. I think that was another thing that the pandemic did, especially to our industry. I think it made a lot of people feel very alone because, again, they can't get some of these staff back or they left, right? And now they're like, what do I do? And it's like, well, I'm not really a trainer. I'm not. There are I don't know, I'm not supposed to talk about Cisco lots on these shows, but Cisco has a lot of partners. And then at this show today, there are a lot of partners. So don't just think, how do I train people? Where do I find them? What about, we've been talking about this recently, what about trying a recruiter again? Right? Well, I didn't have an good experience in the past. I'm like, that's the past, right? What about, reaching out to your distributor, right? And do they have training resources and what, right? Getting a little bit uncomfortable, right? And that sort of thing. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I think Scott nailed it. It's thinking outside the box. The industry when I worked in it 20 years ago, managing restaurants, is not the industry anymore.
Yeah,
it's totally different, and it's so much better, and it's got so many more things to offer. And we just finished administering a recruitment grant to the industry, just to try to attract new members. And some of the ideas that were coming up were pretty spectacular, just recruitment bonuses and being able to, implement things like a softball league so that they'd have some, remember softball league? Yeah. I was in one. That was a horrible baseball player. But the reality is that we got to get back to
apparently you stayed the latest though, so there are some records.
There was beer. But the reality is that we have to get back to doing that stuff again, because that's the stuff that really brought me into the industry. That's going to be bringing that next generation into the industry too. And that's what we're doing. And with leaders like Scott and myself and the associations at the head, we're driving home these things to our members, and they're listening and they're making changes.
I think a shameless plug, I guess. I've been able to listen to Sean, through the media, at meetings, government calls, and and there's a value to being a part of an association.
Yeah.
There's lots of restaurants in Manitoba today that are not members of his association, and they should be.
Good call out.
I have some hotels that are not members of our association. He is busting his butt every day representing the restaurants in Manitoba, as I am for the hotels. And through the last 2 years, I would be what the restaurants look like in Manitoba would be significantly different if it weren't for his efforts, right? Trying to remind government of where we're at, and again, the same for us, right, with the hotels. So I think if you're not a member of the restaurant association, or you're a hotel that's not a member of the hotel association, it's not that expensive. You should join. You should jump in. You should access the resources that we have available to us, and the more the merrier. There's strength in numbers for us, and we're the ones that are around the table talking to government that are impacting how you're doing your business.
I'll cut you your check later, Scott. Appreciate it.
Well, if I can also add to that, and thanks for bringing that up, because I didn't ask the question and I should have. We're going to do a better job for you as well. I think those of us as distributors and people in the industry, we have a voice too, Jay. I mean, that's why you're here right now, obviously. But assets for social media, things like that. You just got a new person. Like literally, I was tingling as you were saying that, Scott, because not only is there power in that, but we as peers of your industry or supporters or whatever, we also have to help you with our platforms. So I'll put my hand up and say we're going to do a better job at Cisco of that, but I'm also going to, reach out. Anybody that's listening to this right now, vendors, anybody, ask us how you can also be an ambassador for your associations too, right? Because I think all of us, I love what you said, like this collaboration, all of us, we can do this together, right?
Yeah, it's probably never been easier for us to make the value, it's a value proposition. People have a choice whether they're members or not. Unfortunately, the pandemic put us in a situation where people needed our help. And we're happy to be there for them. We weren't happy about the situation, but you need a strong restaurant association or a strong hotel association to make sure that your concerns are addressed.
Well, and I also like I wanted to unpack what you said because it was really important. Sorry, I don't know if we're at time.
No,
Okay.
Keep going.
I just wanted to say also back to what you were talking about. No bad ideas. I think critical. Sean and I talked about it too. As you bring on new members to your boards and that too, right? But also to the companies. If people are having a hard time understanding this generation or whatever the buzz terms are out there, right? Ask questions. Don't assume. Like, I don't understand how to motivate these people. Did you ask them? Right? I don't understand what this generation wants. Did you ask them? Right? And don't try your hardest, because I'm guilty. I've done it. I do it in my marriage, my family, all those things, right? Try to check your personal, what's the term here? Like your personal biases, and just listen. You'd be surprised, because some of these things that we're talking about aren't expensive, right?
No, you have to, you got to make an environment where they want to come to work every day.
Yeah.
Right. And I love coming to work every day. I know Scott does too. And, we take this passionately because we love our industries, but our operators are doing the same thing. They're changing every day to make their environments, more fun. And look at, again, 700 on team hospitality here right now. And really, these people all care about the industry. And look at this, and look at, some of the other industries that we compete with. There's none of that stuff out here. This is a fun place to be. This is the place to go.
What about you, Jay?
Well, I know I'm sitting here learning.
Yeah.
Because I've traveled the country many times and been to many shows and things like that. I am impressed on how you guys have worked together to pull this. We don't do anything like this in Alberta. There's nothing like this, I believe, in BC to the caliber you guys have put together. So hats off to you. I don't see it in Ontario. I haven't seen this, maybe in Quebec, but I haven't seen anything like this. So congratulations on doing this, putting this together, and really doing something that I think the rest of the country needs to learn from as well. And I'm new to this, so thank you again.
You know what? Big shout out to the MHA and Jerry Weir and Jeremy LaRue, just the team at the MHA and Megan McIntosh, the operations manager. Scott and I are really, we have teams that just really puts us together and just rock this out the board. Like, they just such an amazing job. And Jerry every year just kind of surprises me every year how he can just come up with an even better show, right? And when you put things in front of people and ideas in front of people that are, have a limited time, our people are busy.
Yeah.
They're owner operators, right?
Yeah.
And you give them 6 hours to come out and decompress and check out what's new. And Jerry can put it in front of you in 6 hours. Man, people are going to come. So congratulations to that.
Like, one thing in Manitoba is that people have a really strong passion, ownership for what's Manitoban, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that from our suppliers, it's usually it's an easy phone call. Hey, we're going to do this. Are you going to support it? Cisco again would lead not just going to come on with you guys because it's the fact.
Absolutely.
Cisco would be front and center, somebody that's always going to support what we're trying to do, and it's a good partnership. And it's small enough, people know each other, and people really want to get behind it. Mm-hmm. And I think that really is quite helpful to put it on.
Yeah, and I just think the rest of Canada seriously needs to take a look at this and see what you guys have done here, and to learn from that. Like, I really think they could take nuggets and the whole idea even and do it in their provinces and stuff. I know in my province we can learn and do this back home, and hats off. Like, really, I'm blown away. When I came here, I had no idea what I was walking into. I knew it was a show, but I didn't know.
Farther in the playoffs, though, so that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Bring that. You don't. That's,
go there.
Yeah, you had to go right there, eh? Eat the cake and be quiet.
I'm taking my
So, anyways, but thanks again for also great partnership. allowing us to be at the show. And we're going to broadcast this later tomorrow and this weekend and stuff. But thanks again for you guys doing the industry. And it shows everyone, it's nice seeing people back in person. And it's nice just being in a room with people and hearing that sound again and the smells.
The smell for sure.
Smells
Sitting
good,
in this
eh?
booth, it's intoxicating.
Yeah,
It
if you
is.
stand over there, you're downwind from the ribeyes. Oh my
I
gosh.
swear if I
Yeah.
had another corned beef sandwich, I'm going to fall off this.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yet he'll walk around and get another one, and that's okay. We won't judge.
That's okay.
I just again also want to say thanks for having our back. Thanks for having our industries back, and thanks for letting us do this today. I know this is a little different and all that, and I kind of threw it at you, little bits of details here and there, but thanks for giving us the opportunity to do this.
Appreciate it. Thanks for what you
Appreciate
do.
all you do. And it would have been easy to say no, right? But that's not the right thing to
Oh
do,
my
right?
gosh, I
Yeah.
appreciate that so much, and I would have respected
Kevin
it.
has an idea. We know it's Kevin. Okay.
No.
But hey, I really appreciate the support. And hey, this has been tough on the people that we represent, but it's also been tough on our suppliers. We certainly are aware of that and appreciate the support.
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely.
Awesome. That's it, Kev.
Thanks for giving us some time, guys.
Kevin's
Sorry.
first show hosting.
He's good, eh?
He's pretty good, eh?
We're going to start calling them one time.
One time.
You're saying that's the first time.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Here you go. You want to cut to a commercial then, Kev?
Sure, what do I do?
You gotta tee it up. That's the rule.
Okay, so
So you gotta tee it up, buddy.
thanks to our guests.
Yes,
for
we say
joining us
bye
here
to
next week.
them.
No, you guys are good. You're
You
good.
can go to that. Thanks
We'll
so
see
much.
you guys in a bit.
You bet.
You bet.
Thanks so much.
And now
So-
we are gonna.
Tee it up, Kev. Here we go. See if you can pull this
You
off.
didn't tell me about the commercial cutaway. If I knew about it,
So-
listen to me. Eh? Throwing the
just
guy who's
wait,
giving me
we're
this
gonna do
opportunity
this.
under the bus.
You gonna
Shame
do
on
this? So I can-
me. What do we? Oh, you're just.
Oh.
It automatically goes to the host. Look at what's out here.
There you
There's
go,
me.
right there, Kev.
All
Okay,
right.
just wait a second. We gotta tee this up.
It's just gonna be like Wayne's World in.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, no. Okay.
You can't say Wayne Word. We can't afford that.
Sorry.
No, just
Oh,
joking.
okay. I was like, I didn't say this. Sorry. Cut that. Sorry. Okay. This is like on a popular. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Yeah. Well, this is first and last interview. It's nice to meet you all.
All right, you want to tee up to
Yeah.
tee us out?
Okay. What? Like we're signing out.
We're signing up for the day.
Oh, well, signing out from the Manitoba Restaurant Association and Food Service Association one show.
What's with the one show?
That's what they call it, one show. I think it's just
Oh,
calling out
like
that
a
it's-
combo?
Yeah, like because it used to be
It's a
separate.
combo meal.
Yeah, there used to be two separate ones. and
So it's
now
a
there's just the
combo
one.
meal.
Yeah,
It's a buffet.
it's like it has been a buffet today. Yes,
Yeah.
all you can eat. Yeah. So
Do you want to say anything else? You have a moment here.
well,
You have a
I
moment.
wanna
People are
thank-
watching us
okay,
all
well, I
over
don't
the
know if you're-
world,
I don't know if you're
man.
fishing here, but I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for bringing the team, bringing all the equipment, and I want to encourage anybody that's listening. Lean into technology. Get uncomfortable. It's not easy. I watched Jay set this up for hours yesterday, and I know it feels in some cases like we don't have time for this, but let's try to make time. Cisco's got a whole slew of resources. This is our business resource team that's here at the show today. We got chefs preparing food. We got specialists helping out. Like there's more resources than ever before. But please don't be afraid to ask. Okay, and we're gonna poke a little bit too, but please don't be afraid to ask.
You like poking.
Well, I think there's a fine balance between you can't tell people they need help because people don't like hearing that. I think it's important that you throw it out there, right? But yeah, and I just want to thank my teammates. I mean, they can't hear me right now, but Chef Peter, who kind of puts together our trade show.
He has his
floor.
own show on my network.
He does.
Just so you know.
Yeah, no, so I'm allowed to say that, right? We're not.
Peter is a celebrity.
Well,
he's a huge celebrity.
I just want to say, like, he puts this. He draws out a floor plan.
In Vermont, he's huge in Vermont.
It starts with a little drawing on a piece of paper, and then it grows into this. But it's the people in this booth today. If you can, you'll see the pictures and stuff. But if you can see the passion when they go and approach customers and all that, like this place, this group cares, right? And whether it be you as part of our Cisco Canada support team, is that what it's called? I don't even know if it's called.
SVK network.
SVK and the SVK network. Well, Emily was here.
I know.
Yasmin was here. It just felt great today to have the support from our team, and I think it's a pretty special thing, like you said, about what we're doing in our region. And I feel very supported in my role here. That you've come to Manitoba, right? Like,
And no one knows how quick you asked.
Yeah.
You asked last last week?
Well, yeah, it was very. Let's just say it was a very tight turnaround. I do okay. I need to work on my management skills, but anyways, I just and again just want to thank anybody that's listening, as well as
Look at you have people listening now.
no, I just say You said as a final sign off, and again, as a final sign off, if I have to do like the Cisco thing, right?
No.
No, but I'm just saying.
We
as
build
takeaways-
Cisco through not telling people.
No, but I just want to say I'm very grateful that there's always sort of like, what are your takeaways? And I really love, I'm glad that we finished with Sean and Scott, right?
Yeah.
The takeaways, right? Team hospitality, right? So remember that when you're out there grinding or being against, we're team hospitality, right?
Yeah.
Like we're an industry, right? And if you are a person that's
That is
out,
a good line.
right? Oh, I love it. I'm thinking of some shirts that we make. I'm going to start with a hashtag for now, right? But who knows? Sean's probably already with his trademark lawyer, and so might have to pay next time. But we are team hospitality. Remember that, I like what Scott said about adapting and being flexible and adaptable. So please, the industry is changing a bit, but people still love and want to be here. But let's invite them back. Let's invite people from all age groups. I think there's some age groups that people that have been worked out of the industry or moved on that still want to work, but I think they might want to be invited. So let's try to remember that some of the people that are maybe in that age demographic that still can contribute and can be very valuable members. Let's just not think, let's get out of that tunnel vision or out of the box and think about everyone when it comes to recruiting.
Sign off is usually a minute.
Well, I mean, maybe I'll be the guy known for a really long sign off, I guess, right?
He just reinvented the longest sign off in history. So thank you, Kevin, for everything you do. Right. And you know what? Thanks for inviting me and all these great things. And all the people that tune in are going to watch us later.
Yeah.
Because mostly people are going to watch us on demand late at night tonight while they're binge watching the rest of the SVK network shows. And the TikTok show that we did this morning, you got to watch as well.
Yeah.
Richard we were in Ottawa today. Hanging out in Ottawa.
You were in Winnipeg.
I was in Winnipeg.
Broadcasting it.
And we were hanging out in Ottawa today, and we've seen amazing people. So thanks again.
And if I could say one other thing, again, super long sign off. Thanks to the people.
Keep going, Kev.
No, I want to say thanks to our behind the scenes folks, our our warehouse folks, it's all the Ciscos, right? They didn't stop throughout the entire pandemic, right? They came to work every day and they supported the industry. We've got our front of house, we've got our office people. These folks are really passionate about the industry, but they're not in front of the camera or the spotlight, right? And yet they've kept all this going, and they love our industry too. They talk to us at work about where they eat out and everything else. So I just want to say thanks to them because they've kept it going, and they make us who we are too, not just the people that, the sales or front-facing folks that are out here today. And I feel very grateful to be part of what Cisco's, 60,000, I think now, right, of people that are genuinely passionate about our industry.
You should do audiobooks.
Don't rope me into that. 6 hours, sure. Yeah, 6 hours.
Kevin's audiobook, or one of those things you to sleep.
That was not a compliment. Anyways, signing off from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
There we go. He's doing it right now.
The Victoria Inn's Banquet and Conference Center, and a shout out to their staff. Amazing group of people here.
My chips are down there.
Oh, good for you. We will. We'll be in touch. We'll be talking to you again.
Call
soon.
it a day.
Yeah, we'll call it a day.
All right. Thanks, Kev.
You bet, Jake.
Here we go.